Good evening, Janet. Is President Janet?
No, this is Kiwani and Janet from New Kingston. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Welcome.
Hi, good evening.
All right. All right. What I want you to do for me, I'm just testing.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
just,
don't want any laptops.
no, man, no. I want you to click that YouTube link and tell me what you're seeing.
YouTube link.
You see it up top? Look in the chat group, in the chat.
1 minute. In the chat. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
What you want me to click on now?
On the link to you see a link there? In the chat group?
YouTube.
Yes, just click on it and let me see. Let's see what's happening.
View stream on YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
click on the link in the chat group, in the chat.
Okay. But
You clicked on it?
just a minute.
So can you see me? Are you able to see me? Janet? Are you there? I guess you're on YouTube right now, so you're not seeing me. No, you're muted. You're muted, so you're not hearing me. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you reset it because I'm not seeing anything in the chat.
Oh, you're not seeing anything in the chat? How come?
I don't see anything in the chat.
All right, I'm gonna send. All right, I'm gonna send it now. Or maybe because I posted it before you came on.
Oh, okay.
All right, tell me if you see it now.
Oh, yes. You want me to click on it?
Yes, click on it.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Can you see me?
It's browsing.
It's what?
YouTube. It's browsing.
It's not clear. Why you break it? You're saying you're not seeing me? Put it back.
It's loading.
I'm sorry?
Well, I can't reach it up there, honey. Oh,
That's Elizabeth. Put it back for me.
Lisa?
Yes, Janet, can you see it?
Lisa?
Janet?
Actually, I'm trying to look. It's trying to. I'm browsing, but it's not coming up.
Can you see me?
It's taking a while.
Take a while to load.
Okay, cool. Just checking. You're my engineer this evening, you see?
Oh.
Don't come in your phone. Never type it.
Yeah.
What you looking?
Piece that fell off up here. Just crowed. Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth. 1 minute, please. Piece I'm looking for fell around the back. You can raise it for me. Thank you. Elizabeth. Elizabeth? 1 minute, please. Janet? Miss Janet? All right, I tested it and it's okay now. So I'm fine. All right? I'm fine. Janet? Miss Janet?
Oh, no, it's.
All right, I tested it. Okay, Janet, welcome back. Welcome back. I see you at two places. All right, welcome back. Are you hearing me? You're muted again.
Hello?
Yeah, you're hearing me okay?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Okay.
All right, were you able to open the YouTube link?
I'm trying to do it on a different device because my laptop is slow.
Oh, all
Trying
right.
it on the Kindle.
All right, not to worry, not to worry. You're on.
Okay.
I just did that for those that the overflow from 100 because Zoom can only accommodate on 100.
Okay, no problem. Bless you.
So, but you're in. That's fine. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah. President Michael, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, President. Sorry,
No.
DP, Desmond, DP.
All right, sir. Welcome.
All right.
I was trying to get into your YouTube link for the climate change,
Yes,
and why I couldn't get in. It was
I
asking.
don't know.
Yeah, I have to
Why
try it
couldn't you?
again. But I tried.
Because did you subscribe though?
I was trying to, or because I didn't subscribe, I couldn't get in.
No, no, I'm not saying that. I was just wondering if you had subscribed because we would like people to subscribe.
Yeah, it asked me for my password,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't always remember my password. I will click it again and
What
see.
password?
It asked me for a password. So the password is, I'm not sure if it's my Gmail password to get into the YouTube. Yeah, it was yes.
I don't know why. I don't know why that was.
I talk back to you in a while. Yeah, yeah. Good evening, good evening, good evening, DLG Willie. I see DLG Willie and Ava Maria. Kiwanis Club of, is this Montego Bay?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, LG.
Hi, DLG Willie.
How's everything?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm not too bad, my dear. Thanks a lot. GE. Good evening, DP Evan. How you do?
Hi, DLG Willie. Good to see you.
Yes,
Can,
man.
can you hear me?
Yes, I hear perfectly.
Excellent, excellent.
Five.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm just setting up for until we start.
Okay, fine.
DP Evan, nice to see you. DLG Willie, good evening, sir.
Hey, DP Desmond, good to see you. Great
All
to see
right.
you.
Same here. Thank you.
Yes. Hope all is well.
No, as it can be. All give thanks.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
LG Debbie, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, DP Desmond.
Yeah.
LG Debbie was on. Probably she's just going to do something.
Let me see. Yeah, man, she's still on.
I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
there she is.
The mic just would not allow me to. I couldn't
Mute.
find the cursor, but I'm here. Hi, how are you doing?
I am great.
Awesome, awesome. Looking forward to
PD, you see PD Dudley?
I see him. I see him. I see him sitting beside you. Oh gosh.
Yes. He'll be with us for a while.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Oh
He'll
man.
be with us. Let me welcome some other person.
Myself in a convenient room, so I'm just moving the machine.
EP Stewart, you okay? Alphonse.
I hear President Richard, but I can't see him yet.
No, I'm moving the machine.
Okay.
Yes. I'm putting on my jacket.
Not seeing your microphone. DP Stewart.
Yeah, I'm moving to where the banner is.
All right.
DP Desmond.
Yes, sir.
I suspect FLC T2 Dawn Grant could be Carrington Grant.
Okay.
Dawn was his daughter, remember?
Yeah, okay. I have to put some names there.
Oh, great. I see you good now, DP Desmond.
Yes, sir.
I will excuse myself for a minute.
All right. Give our regards to your dear wife. Ava Marie. Yes. Is this? She's at the beach.
He's from Kings Cove, Montego Bay.
Yes.
Okay, you're boasted this evening, man, because you're all live on YouTube.
Yes. We
Sure.
may not need it, but just in case.
Absolutely.
I will put the link again because since I posted it before you came on,
Yes.
you wouldn't see it.
Okay.
So here is the link in the group.
Okay.
Yeah. EP Stewart, I'm not hearing you. So, welcome, Past Chairman Carrington. President Richard, you're setting up your banner, right?
I'm actually just relocating the computer
Yes.
to the.
You have to unmute PC Carrington. You're relocating the computer.
I'm in position now.
You're still muted. You're still muted, Sir Carrington.
You hearing them?
I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you now. Center your device. What you see on the screen is what we see. So if you give me a piece of your face, I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you. Just center your device. Center your device so we can see your face better.
Here.
Check that background there, Carrington.
Center your device.
Yes, President.
Yeah,
President Richard, good evening.
Center your device so we can see your face better.
Yes,
Whatever you see
yes,
on the
yes.
screen, whatever you see on the screen is what we see.
Move to your left and remove. There's a thing behind you that needs to be removed. Something hanging behind, yes.
Yeah. And
move to your left, Carrington.
Center the camera. Center the camera.
Shift the camera to your right, or you move to your left, Carrington. We're only seeing your left ear. Yeah, more yet.
Some more. Come some more. No, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, good. All right. Let us see your head top now.
Look like the camera is not behaving.
And pull it down a little. Ah, that's much better. You can
Go
come
to your left.
come back, center it a little bit more. Whatever you see in there, whatever you see on your screen is what we see.
Yes. No, more yet. Yeah, more yet.
Much better.
Move your chair one more time. Slightly to the left. Yes, okay, steady.
All right, much better.
Okay. Yes.
All right, so welcome.
You have taken up a proper dressing now, Carrington.
Hi, Shudi, Leachman, how are you?
Hello,
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, good evening. Leachman from...
That's the new faculty advisor for St. Andrew Technical High School.
Okay, good. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
So I'm going to try and get some of my covers to be on.
Sure.
All right, Chidi.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
LG, I went to the photo shop there on Lane.
Yeah?
But they're like 700.
What's that?
Some frames. I was trying to get the best price around for some frames.
You can check the place in Premier Plaza.
Yes, Photo Express.
Yeah, that's one of our customers. I think it might be in the same region or maybe less.
Oh, last time I bought there was 500.
Yeah, it's supposed to be less.
Yeah.
Crossroads.
You're hiding from the barber.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rastafarian.
You see, my barber is right at home here now. But he's
Well, I cut my hair myself, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm a triple head, Norelco, Phillips Norelco.
My barber is right here at home.
You mean your wife is your barber?
No, my son.
Okay.
But he's so busy.
Yes.
I'd have to make appointment.
I just have a fear of barbershops. So many people develop habits of going there at particular times.
Yeah.
Anybody wants you, they just come for you at the barber shop. Yeah. And you have some people remain with that barber for 20, 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you have developed that kind of a relationship.
So I just use my own razor, and I seem to have become quite expert.
How long it takes you?
Maybe not more than about 15 minutes.
Okay.
I cut everything, you know.
Well, if you do it very often, you shouldn't have a lot.
No, and then you have a cream that you can apply, you know, when you leave that for 24 hours. But it's like near or neat. It has a slightly pungent scent, you know, what ladies use on their legs.
Yeah. I'm looking for a certificate. I'm looking for a certificate. I'm looking for a certificate that yeah, sent. So let me see.
And I told you that that PD Dudley's son.
It's not sent yet. You hear? It's not sent yet.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm trying to circulate the YouTube thing.
Okay.
PD Dudley advised that his son advised that he has been cremated. So
okay.
Nothing now remains to inter him decently. So I'm waiting on that information.
All right. Thank you.
And there's some other information he sent, which I'll share at director's meeting there.
Okay.
We lost an old soldier this week.
Who is that?
His name was C.D. Foster, and his AKA government.
Oh no! From where?
From JDF, a warrant officer. Yeah.
Okay.
A legend.
Yeah.
Barry should know him.
Somebody that I never met but know of because of his legacy.
Yes. Welcome, Adrian. Welcome, PE Joshua. DP Josephine, nice to see you. Welcome, our guest speaker, DLG Lloyd. DLG Gertlin, welcome.
Sir Evan, I didn't know.
Good evening, President Richard. Good evening. Good evening, Q audience.
Yes.
Good evening, DLG Lloyd. Nice to see you. And welcome.
Good evening, DLG Lloyd.
Welcome, DLG Eileen.
Is that my favorite LG, Debbie?
To all your LGs. Right?
I can call you my favorite LG. Don can't say anything. He'll understand.
Welcome, past district trustee, Ralston.
Hi, DLG Eileen and DLG Gerthlin.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Desmond.
Hi, PDT.
Welcome, DP Aldis.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Have a great time.
Yes, DLG Gerthlin.
Thank you, DLG Gertlin.
LG, I told you something today that Lloyd just repeated, but your response to me was totally different from your response to him.
So misunderstanding, is that so?
I was waiting on you.
President, your background's a little light, dark.
Dark?
Yeah, can you give us some more light?
I'm trying to see myself. All right, I think, yes. How is that? A bit
We
better?
need some more light in the face.
Well, I have been in the sun.
No, man, it was bright. It was bright earlier, you know, like maybe about 10 minutes ago.
It varies, and the lights are overhead, you know?
All right.
So I don't know, how is that now?
Marginally different, marginally lighter, brighter.
Let me check the camera lens. No?
But we can work with that.
Yeah, it's fluctuating actually.
Let me see if we can see the banner. Let me put you up.
Yes. And I put the flag. Would you like me to space the flag a bit from the banner?
Yeah, if we can see Kingston, it would be nice.
Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. Good evening, all.
Good evening, President Kevin.
Congratulations on so many years.
Thank you, sir.
Service to the children. 57 going strong.
From 1964.
Right. And moving as agile as a 15-year-old.
Yes, agility is very important.
Yes, it is.
You can bring it some more, President. Not seeing
He
Kingston
just
clearly.
need to move his chair.
Not seeing Kingston clearly. Or
Ask
move
him
it,
to
or
move his
shift his
chair.
chair. If he shifts his chair, he's not going to be too centered in the camera.
I'm going to get a different chair.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to get a
And
price.
just turn the camera on.
Yeah. What time is it now? 7.
It's past time. There's one.
Yeah. Welcome.
Well, you got rain.
District Secretary-elect, Circle K.
What a little Gretling, thank you.
DP Desmond.
Yes, sir.
Also have President Adrian Da Costa, St. Andrew Technical High School Key Club.
Yes, so is that's better.
Yes, President.
Richard.
But when you sit, you may block it.
So, I'm going to price small chair.
That's if you can see it, that is what you see is what we see.
Yes.
All right, I'll put up the agenda once more.
Someone with
I have to mute. I have to mute some persons.
Yes.
Can you mute your microphone, please? Can you unmute your microphone? Okay, I just muted DLGE Trevor. Whenever you're ready, President. Yeah, unmute, Prez. Unmute.
Kiwanis and the guests. This meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston is hereby called to order. I know ask everyone to stand and face the flag if one is in your location, and let's raise the national anthem. Instrumental. We'll have to silence the microphone for me. I know
Can you mute your microphone, please?
Mine has to be on mute.
I have to mute. DLG E.
Mine has to be open now.
You have to mute Trevor. He's doing the objects.
Okay, okay. Yes, go ahead. Right. I have unmuted you.
The objects of Kiwanis International. To give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life. To encourage the daily living of the golden rule in all human relationships. To promote the adoption and the application of higher social, business, and professional standards. To develop by precept and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship. To provide through Kiwanis clubs the practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities. To cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound of public opinion and high idealism which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill.
Thank you, DLGE Trevor. I now invite DP Rupert Whitaker to bring the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Father, we want to express our appreciation to you for enabling us to be together as a club, to be the foundation of Kiwanis in Jamaica for 57 years. And as we celebrate, Father, we praise you and thank you for those who laid those foundations, those who have gone on before us and whose shoulders we stand, for the services that have been rendered to so many Jamaicans, for the instrumentalities of the different committees and efforts that are made by this club to spread goodness, service, and help to others. Thank you for the many other clubs that have been raised up, Kiwanis clubs in Jamaica. Thank you for the leadership of our club, for the officers, for all our members. Thank you for all the stalwarts. And as we praise you and continue to do our part even these COVID-19 times, may we remember that it's better to give than to receive. This is our prayer through the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, DP Rupert.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. And you're sounding fresh and rested.
Yes, sir, I am.
In my opening remarks, I first of all would like to recognize the sterling efforts over the years of our founders and all those members who have made it possible for us to achieve our 57th year. It is indeed an opportunity for us to recommit to the objects of Kiwanis International and the club's mission and programs. Let us therefore focus on a sustained growth with new membership and also to execute more meaningful programs while taking care of the welfare of our members. Let it be service, fun, and fellowship. So at this time, I'm going to ask DP Desmond Batchelor to bring the welcome and have conduct the introduction of visiting clubs, SLPs, overseas clubs, and guests. Over to you, DP Desmond.
Thank you, President Richard. Good evening again, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our anniversary meeting. And let me start with the introduction of those from overseas. Do we have overseas visiting clubs? No? If not, we will go to Division 25. Division 25. Do we have from Division 25? I see Montego Bay.
Yes, there is Montego Bay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is President-elect Carleen Moore from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. I believe we have 2 members on this evening, and we just want to bring warm, sunny greetings from the Sunshine City of Montego Bay.
Welcome. Welcome, President-elect Carleen. Welcome on your delegation. Nice to have you. Do we have other visiting clubs from 25? Other visiting clubs? No? Okay, we move to Division 24. Division 24.
Good evening, everyone. This
Good
is
evening.
President Michelle from the Kiwanis Club of St. Anne's Bay.
Welcome, President Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, welcome. Nice to have you. Do we have other clubs from Division 24? No? Okay. Division 23 West.
Good evening, President DP Desmond.
Good evening, President Kevin.
This is President Kevin from the Kiwanis Club of Linstead. I bring you warm greetings and jubilation on your 57th anniversary. I told you earlier that although you guys are 57, you're very agile for your age. Want to wish you another 57 years of wonderful service to the children. I know that I'm here with DP June, and I'm sure other members of the club will be joining the platform very shortly. We're looking forward to a wonderful meeting, and thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, sir, and welcome. Welcome on your delegation. Always nice to have you, sir. You're always here with us. We appreciate it.
Good to be here.
Right.
Good evening, DP Desmond, President Richard. This is P. Emilio from the Kiwanis Club of Diverse Professionals, Portmore Pines. I bring greetings on behalf of President Cheryl Skeen and a happy anniversary. 57 is a good number, you know, still working, still have fresh legs, fresh hearts, and fresh minds to do a lot of work for Kiwanis. And we wish for you to have many, many more anniversaries working and serving the children of the world. Do have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you, P. Emilio. Thank you for your support, sir. You're always with us. Thank you.
cheers to you, and cheers to you, and cheers to a happy anniversary. We bring you greetings to our parents from the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville, wishing you a very happy anniversary, and all your children in Mandeville are wishing you well. We are hoping to have an enjoyable meeting, daddies.
Thank you.
Thank you, DP Josephine. Always nice to have you. Always nice to have you on your delegation. Thank you. Do we have other clubs from 24? Division 24? No? Okay, let's go to Division 23 East. Division 23 East.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Welcome.
Somebody was speaking. I don't want to stop.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead. I'll go after. Go ahead. Go ahead.
BP Desmond. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is great to be on, bringing you greetings from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, our fathers. And, you know, it is always great to be with Kingston Club, but a special place in our hearts for you. And so today we're wishing you many, many happy returns, happy anniversary, your 57. Well, boy, you're getting old, but never mind. So all of us do have an enjoyable meeting. And with me this evening, others will be joining, but I know there's Kiwanian Janet on and Kiwanian Olive Norton. Others will join you later. President Richard, great to be on. Have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, DLG Gertlin, Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, and your delegation. Thank you for the warm welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. A warm greeting.
Good evening, DP Desmond, and to President. This is World President Karen from the Kiwanis Club of Trafalgar. 57 years, still charming in service. I wish you all the best and many, many more years in service. And I will not second what DP Gertlin, LG Gertlin has said. You're still young and fresh in service. And I just want to wish you many, many more years. With me this evening is my Secretary Althea and Kiwanian Mesha. Looking forward to a wonderful and charming meeting with the gentlemen of Kingston.
Thank you. Thank you. You're always welcome. Do we have others from 23 East?
Good evening, PE. This is DLG Lloyd from downtown Kingston. Of course, very pleased to be here. Sort of wearing two hats this evening, but certainly from the Kiwanis Club of downtown Kingston, just wishing our fathers a happy anniversary. I so recall that date 57 years. I wasn't around 57 years ago, but certainly it's a really good to know the milestone that you have achieved. And of course, downtown Kingston is chasing after you. This afternoon, we have President DP Stefan. I do expect President Kwame to join us and a few other members of the club.
Thank you, DLG Lloyd. Happy to have you, sir, and your delegation. Do we have others from 23 East?
Greetings, President Richard, and the members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. On the behalf of all the members of the Kiwanis Club of Worthington, Kingston. So coming from your sons and daughters, a happy 57th. We are wishing you many, many more to come and all the best. So happy to be here.
Thank you, and your delegation. Welcome, nice to have you. Kiwanis Club of Worthington. Do we have others from Division 23 East? No? Okay.
Good evening, DP Desmond.
Good evening.
I'm not from 23 East, I'm from 23 West, but I'm here. This is President Nardia from the Kiwanis Club of Greater Portmore.
Welcome, President Nardia.
I couldn't allow your meeting to go on without me. So I am here just saying happy anniversary and all the best for our next 57 times, 57 years to come. Continue serving the children of the world as you have always been doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Nadia. We are happy that you could join us and your delegation. And all of us really express our sincerest condolences on the passing of your father.
Thank you, sir.
All
My
right.
mommy.
Not her father, so mother.
My mommy.
My apology. All right. We are deeply saddened by the passing of your mother. And we are happy that you could join us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have others from Division 23 East? If not, we go to 23 Central. '23 Central.
Good evening.
Good evening, yes.
Good evening, President Desmond and members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. This is Divisional Secretary Sandra. I bring you greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Constant Spring, from President Pat and the members, wishing you, a happy 57th year of sterling service to Jamaica. And of course, hoping that you will have at least 57 more years of sterling service. With me this evening is our Lieutenant Governor, Deborah Manning. It will just be both of us this evening. As you know, tonight is our meeting night. So it will just be us tonight.
Thank you, Divisional Secretary Sandra. Happy that you could join us. And of course, our LG, Debbie. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Others from Division 23 Central? Division 23 Central?
Yes, good evening, DP Desmond.
Good evening.
This is President Clemar Johnson from KCB, Barbican.
Welcome. Welcome, sir.
Yes, happy anniversary to you guys. As a young president, I just realized that I have a lot of brothers and sisters. So I wish you many more years to come. I mean, it's 57, so I've seen that you've made some solid foundation, and I pray that you'll continue to do so. Looking forward to a wonderful meeting. It's a topic I'm very much interested in.
Thank you, sir, and welcome and your delegation from Barbican. Thanks
Okay.
for
Good evening, DP. This is DP Marlene from the Kiwanis Club of Capital City, Kingston. We're so happy to be in the house to be sharing with you on this year 57th anniversary. We want to say thank you, for 57 years of service to the children of the world. We're happy to be here, like I said before, and with me this evening we have DP Dorothy and Chairman Francine. We're looking forward to an awesome meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, DP Marlene. Welcome, and your delegation, Capital City. Thanks very much for coming. Do we have others from 23 Central? No? Okay.
Stony Hill in the house.
DP Desmond, before you move on, this is DP Josephine. We have 5 members from the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville joining you. At the time when I did the introduction, I did not see them, but they are now on the platform. DP Maxine, PE Shirley, Kiwanian Gamal, and Kiwanian Kashif, and DP Maxine.
Great. Thank you. Welcome on your delegation.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Okay, we have others from 23 Central. You said Constance, Stony Hill?
Stony Hill in the house, President. I've been asked by Acting President Mark to bring you greetings from the cool hills of Stony Hill on your 57th anniversary. We wish the club well and hope that you will continue for many, many more years.
Thank you, PDT Ralston. And
North St. Andrew.
Welcome, Stony Hill.
North St. Andrew.
Right. North St. Andrew. Go ahead.
President Michael.
Good evening. Sorry, Good evening, DP and President Richard. This evening, the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrews. So far, we have 3 members, but I guarantee that the numbers shall rise. We are very happy to be celebrating with you, and we look forward to a very good anniversary meeting. Congratulations on 57 years. We realize we'll always be 10 years younger than you, but at least we have 10-year markers to take note of.
Thank you, President Michael, and your delegation. Kiwanis Club. North St. Andrew. Welcome.
And just to inform that my delegation includes the LGEQ.
Oh, of course. Welcome, LGEQ. Welcome to all the members from Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew.
Thank you, DP Desmond.
Do we have others from 23 Central? All right. No, let us go to, yes, I see DP Venetia from Capital City. Welcome, DP Venetia. Let us go to...
Thank you, President.
You're welcome. Let us go to, do we have prospects with us? If not, I will go to our SLPs. SLPs, can you introduce yourselves for us?
Hello, good afternoon. This is President-elect Joshua Brown from the Monash University College. Here with me is distinct Secretary, now District Secretary-elect Diana Denton, and we have distinguished President Angela Panis. We are here for a wonderful meeting. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you, PE Joshua. Thank you for your support. Michael has always been very supportive, sir, and we are always happy to have you and your delegation. Thank you for coming. Others, we have Circle Kers, Key Clubbers.
Good evening, everyone. This is President Nicholas Giles from Kingston College Key Club. Wishing your club a happy 57th anniversary, and my club is slowly but surely getting you guys on your hallmark. With me this evening are my Kiwanis Relations Officer Alex Gray, my Vice President-elect Theodore Doyle, and my Bulletin Editor-elect Demars Williams. Looking forward to a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, President Doyle. Nice to have you, sir, and your
Pleasant afternoon to this
delegation.
beautiful Kiwanis branch. I am the KRO of St. Hughes High School, Kelly Renee Phillips. Although I am the only one present at this current moment, I do assure you that other members of my delegation will be appearing on this meeting soon. Happy 57th anniversary, and I do hope to see more from this lovely role model Kiwanis branch.
Thank you. I didn't get you clearly, though. Did you say St. Andrew Technical High School?
No, St. Hughes High School.
St. Hughes.
Oh, St. Hughes, of course.
St. Hughes.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Renee Phillips.
Oh, Renee, yes, man, of course. Our great debater, Renee Phillips. Always welcome, Renee, and your delegation from St. Hughes. Happy to have you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, yes?
On behalf of the Dunoon Park Technical High School Key Club, we just want to wish you a happy 57th anniversary. Thank you for all you have been doing, changing the world one child at a time. You guys have made tremendous impacts, positive impacts on each and every one of us, and we're just very grateful. Thank you for having us. We're currently 3 in numbers, and we're expecting more persons to log on.
Thank you. This is our Lieutenant Governor-elect Giselle Reed from Dunoon Park Technical High School. Always happy to have you, Giselle, LGE Giselle, and your delegation. Thank you for coming. All right.
Good evening, everyone. LG Wendy here. I'm currently the only person from St. George's. However, other members from my division are currently on. Happy 57th anniversary. It's nice to see that you guys have been doing service for so long, and I'm sure that it would have been impactful from the start as it is impactful right now. I hope you continue in service for many, many years.
Thank you, LG Wendy. Thank you. Always nice to have you, LG. All right.
Good night, President Richard and other fellow Kiwanians. This is DS Christine and Interclubbing Chairperson from the Kiwanis Club of Santa Cruz. So far, I am solo because tonight is our meeting night. However, I wanted to pop in and congratulate you on your 57th anniversary and wish you continued success.
Thank you, DS Christine. Nice to have you. Happy that you could come to us, really. Despite
Thank
that this is your meeting day or evening. All right, welcome. Welcome. Do we have others?
Greetings, President Desmond, distinguished President Jermaine from the Kiwanis Club of Westmoreland Capital. Just popping in, I think I'm solo just now, and best wishes for 57 more years.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, DP Jermaine. Always nice to have you, sir, and your delegation. Well, you say you're solo, but
yes, my
always
pleasure.
nice to have you. Yes. All right. Do we have
Okay,
others?
Desmond, may I just add something? I
Go ahead,
introduced a
Gertrude.
little earlier and I told you others will join. Well, we have added members. DLGE Sharon Williams is on. DP Dr. Adela Campbell is on. Judith Francis is on. And so is DP Judith Douglas. So I am sure they would like you to know that they are joining you for the anniversary.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, DLG Gertlin. Great. Happy to have everyone. Thanks very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Sharing with us this evening. Do we have others? If not, I go to our guests. Do we have guests of Kiwanians, guests of SLPs?
DP Desmond.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to welcome this evening no stranger, past President Michael Tucker, who was specially invited to our anniversary meeting. We also have a prospect, Domain Corley, who himself is a former lieutenant governor from St. Andrew Technical High School. He's currently working in Boston, but he wants to become an overseas member. And I'd also like to extend a very special welcome to President Adrian DaCosta from St. Andrew Technical High School. He's a newly elected president, accompanied by his faculty advisor, Judy Leachman. Welcome to them.
Thank you. Thank you, DLG Willie. Welcome all. Welcome all. Adrian DaCosta from St. Andrew Technical High School. Of course, we will see each other in a little while. Thank you, DLG Willie. Do we have other guests of SLPs? I see DP Aldith Douglas. DP Aldith Douglas, faculty advisor, Danoon, welcome. All right.
Chairman Desmond.
Yeah. Go ahead for me.
If you will permit me, I am DLGE Lloyd Distant, downtown Kingston.
Oh, welcome, sir. Happy to have you.
If you'll permit me, sir, to say happy anniversary to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston.
Thank you, sir.
I am one of the 4 longest serving Kiwanians in Jamaica, 52 years. And I give thanks to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston for allowing me to be a Kiwanian by virtue of chartering the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston. So happy anniversary, sir. And I am very pleased to see some of my friends at this time.
Thank you.
So congratulations once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, DLG Lloyd. We're happy that you could grace us with your presence, sir. And I hope you are well and you're keeping well.
Yes, sir. I am well now. I was not so well, but I'm pretty good now.
I'm
giving thanks.
Happy to have you, sir. All right. Do we have other guests? Well, let me just say, welcome everyone. Nice to have you. as we recognize our 57th birthday. And now I will pass on to President Richard. President Richard?
One second, DP Desmond. Could you just alert, well, I can do it myself, that if you know of anyone who, I said the numbers have reached in the 90s. So in case we reach our limit, would like to advise that there's a YouTube link in the chat that you can pass on to anyone who you know is trying to get on and is unable to. Thank you.
I have just posted it again, so it is in the group, and I will post it from time to time. I'll post it periodically.
And I also sent email addresses, sent it via email to our membership. So yeah, it's all around.
Thank you, DP Stewart, for reminding me on that. All right, President Richard, over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, DP Desmond. Secretary DLG Willig, do we have any apologies for absence?
Unmute.
Not that I know of.
Okay, thank you. We'll then proceed to recognition of birthdays and anniversaries. And I invite Director and Bulletin Editor, Newton Ramdal, to take charge of this segment.
Thank you, President Richard. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians. Good evening, guests. Good evening, everyone. For this week, our birthdays are PD Vernon Jones, who celebrates on March 25. PD Lascelles Dixon, who celebrates his birthday on March 27. And Marcia, who is the wife of DP Arturo Stewart, who also celebrates her birthday on March 27. And it would be a miss of me if I came off without saying happy birthday to the lion in the room, which is the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. And I want to assure people like DLG Lloyd and everyone else that at 57, we are not toothless lions, we are just wise ones. So with that said, is there anyone else right now who is celebrating some special anniversary, some special occasion, who would like to let us know about it so we can celebrate with you? Okay, well, we'll turn it back over to President Richard, and he will continue the roaring this evening.
Okay. All right, thank you, Director Newton. At this time, it gives me pleasure to invite our Lieutenant Governor Deborah Manning to bring greetings on behalf of the Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District. LG.
Thank you so very much, President Richard, DLG Willie, PDT Ralston, my advisor, DLG Lloyd, Distant Jr., my Team 100 LG, and a guest speaker for this evening, other members of the past Lieutenant Governor Corps, Divisional Secretary Sandro, other distinguished Kiwanians all, members of our service leadership program and guests, good evening, everyone. Kiwanis Club of Kingston, it is a great honor to bring greetings on behalf of the Eastern Canada and Caribbean District at this celebration of your 57th anniversary. I am honored because of the role you have played in the development of the voluntary sector in Jamaica, and by extension, your contribution to nation building. Kiwanis in Jamaica has done exceptionally well, and your club has been at the nucleus, being a standard bearer of excellence and commitment to service. Your excellent service projects spanning 5 decades are well documented. And I'll just mention a few, like the construction of a maternity hospital in Tivoli Gardens and occupational therapy unit at the University Hospital of the West Indies. a home for the aged and daycare centers at various locations in Kingston. And these are just a few. These projects and more have helped to enrich the lives of their beneficiaries, promoted the work of Kiwanis, and have motivated thousands to become volunteers of this august movement. Your support of Kiwanis' flagship service leadership program is most commendable, and it is evidenced by so many of your service leadership program members here today. I take this opportunity to commend DLG Willie Reason on being awarded awarded for his outstanding support to the Circle K movement at their recent district convention. Congratulations, sir. Kiwanis Club of
Thank you.
Kingston, as you diligently serve the communities, you have also recognized that the welfare of your members is of utmost importance. President Richard, I commend you for establishing a new committee that has been actively ensuring that members who are no longer able to serve in the way that they used to continue to be kept in the loop, are visited, and where needed, cared for by members of your club. This club has continued to do great work, adapting swiftly to the dynamic environment and remaining relevant in this technologically advanced age. Today, on behalf of the Eastern Canada and Caribbean District, I salute the Kiwanis Club of Kingston for 57 years of being an excellent role model in the commitment to service, for enriching the lives of children and their families, and improving communities. Best wishes to you for another decade of excellent service. Thank you and have a wonderful celebratory evening.
Yes, thank you, LG Debbie.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And thank you too for your support and motivation over the past year.
It has been my absolute pleasure.
I now invite DLG and our secretary, William Reason, to give us Kiwanis education. Over to you.
Kiwanians and guests, tonight's Kiwanis education comes from the standard form for club bylaws, and it has to do with Article 12, nomination, election of officers and directors. But I'm just going to speak to one section, that is section 3, because we have the upcoming AGM and there are a number of protocols that must be followed. Section 3 says, at a regular meeting, at least 5 weeks prior to the annual meeting, the president shall appoint a nominating committee. The committee shall consist of not less than 5 members, and if possible, a majority should be past presidents. The president shall designate the chairman of this committee. The duties of this committee shall be to make nominations with the consent of those nominated and to prepare a ballot for the election of such officers and directors. And I just quickly read section 4. At least 2 weeks before the annual meeting, the nominating committee shall submit A, the president-elect as the sole nominee for the office of president, B, a list of nominees not exceeding 2 in number by each office to be filled, and C, a list of nominees not exceeding the number of directors to be elected plus 3. Fellow Kiwanis and guests, that's our Kiwanis education for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DLG Willie. At this time, I'll just also mention that I have a guest, one of my key supporters. My mom is actually in the house, and she's identified as Myrtle's iPhone.
Congrats, Mom. You have
Excellent.
produced somebody you can be proud of.
Excellent.
VP Evan is one.
Excellent. Excellent, President Richard.
Momsy did it was a lot of hard work, but you got success.
Yes.
Yes, we are now at the main event for the evening, the introduction of our guest speaker, and I invite DP Dalma James to take over.
Thank you, President Richard, fellow Kiwanians, guests. I've been asked to do something which is virtually impossible, to introduce Lieutenant Governor Lloyd Distance. Now, when you use the name Lloyd Distance in Kiwanis, the only question that is asked is which one. Both are so well-known and hard workers in the Kiwanis movement. In fact, DLG Lloyd Distance Sr. was a founding member of the Downtown Kiwanis Club, and he groomed his son into the movement to the extent when in school, he became a Key Club member at Campion College. He went on later and transferred into Circle K, where he was eventually elected Lieutenant Governor for the Caribbean Division, it was, in 1984, and was subsequently elected to the post of Governor, Circle K District of EC and C for the 1985-86 administrative year. He eventually became a Kiwanian when his father introduced him into the Downtown Kingston Club in the mid-90s. And in the 2003-2004 administrative year, he was president of that club. In 2014-2015, that is the same year that Kiwanis celebrated its 100th year, Lloyd was the Lieutenant Governor, and he was elected, what was it now, to serve that class president. And at the end of that year, he was one of the 5 distinguished lieutenant governors. Shortly after that, he became vice chair of ECNC district formula team and was subsequently appointed the district chair by Kiwanis International. Shortly thereafter, he had the honor of being appointed ECNC district chair for the I-Plan, and all of us know what the I-Plan was all about. Kiwanis was not the only thing he did. He was an entrepreneur at heart, and he is a director of several businesses. And he's currently the president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and the Justice of the Peace for the parish of St. Andrew. This father of 2 daughters is an avid sport enthusiast. His personal motto, the greatest gift one can bestow on another is the gift of a good example. This is derived from the underlying theme in the second object of Kiwanis International. Fellow Kiwanians, guests, please help me in welcoming DLG Lloyd Distance Jr.
DP Dalma, thank you so much for that introduction. It's interesting. You started off speaking about sharing my antecedents with my connection with DLGE Lloyd. I noticed when he came on, he acknowledged his good friends in Kiwanis, but didn't acknowledge certain other people. But I will take that up in the family meeting tomorrow. Fellow Kiwanians, again, the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, congratulations, a phenomenal milestone, certainly one that all clubs in Jamaica will be aiming towards. I thank you for this opportunity to come to you and share some thoughts. I was going to share screen, but I will take the opportunity to walk through some thoughts. I'd agreed with one of your past presidents to have a conversation around the 2021 budget. And as we spoke about, what is it and what it means, we decided that we'd I'd share a bit about asking a question and answering it, obviously, answering the question at the end, as to whether or not the budget that was presented by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Nigel Clarke, whether or not that budget enables us or provides Jamaica a pathway to recovery. So let me start off by providing a bit of context. We're in the midst of the most severe health crisis in over 100 years. So some of what I'll say is obvious, we've heard, right? So we're in the midst of the most severe health crisis in over 100 years. The economic crisis that followed impacted Jamaica, where we hear the PIOJ indicating that our GDP is expected to decline by 10 to 12%. Unemployment rising to close to 11%. And revenue in 2020 declined by 11.3% as against the prior year, 2019. As we got into the pandemic and we saw the crisis that was hitting the country, the Minister of Finance, under the guidance or request from the Prime Minister, started an economic recovery task force. So this economic recovery task force had, I think, some 20 odd persons. So this is a huge task force, some 20 odd persons to look at all elements of what is expected to affect Jamaica and develop a report that says, here's what we need to do to enable economic stability as much as we can, and to identify a resuscitation path for the economy. And I'll speak a bit more about that because whilst I believe the report was phenomenal, there is a real disappointment that we have not been able to get feedback on the implementation of the reports or implementation of the recommendations of the task force. We also are aware that vaccination, which is envisaged to be a path forward for enabling economic resuscitation across all countries, across the world. Our vaccination began a couple of weeks ago, just somewhere in the region, just over a week ago. Somewhere in the region of about 24,000 persons vaccinated, heading towards a target of 2 million persons to be vaccinated. But our task number one is to start the recovery for the country. And the view is obviously that the 2021-22 budget should set that stage. So as we got in, I'll share a bit of the Chamber's perspective. We have been speaking about enabling growth. In 2019 into 2020, we'd have been speaking about enabling growth for our country. The language changed as we got into the summer of 2020, and we spoke about resuscitation of the economy. So I put it to you that there are two entities that spur growth. If they spur growth, they're the same two entities that are required for the resuscitation of the economy. One of those entities is government, the other one is the private sector. Now, the government leads by providing investments via large infrastructure projects. Government leads by providing an enabling environment for investments to take place. As the government looks at large infrastructure projects, it is our expectation that over time, we will build the capacity to do more of these projects using local resources. We would have mentioned, I think a number of us have come to recognize that the government's procurement process is an inhibitor to growth. Not blaming, it's a reality. We notice it, we know that that it needs to change. The procurement process causes significant inefficiency, and by its very nature, limits the participation of smaller enterprises. So we know that's something we need to fix. The other entity that will drive growth or the resuscitation is the private sector. And the view is that we need the private sector to focus on export-led growth. So from the Economic Recovery Task Force, we'd have looked at industries like agriculture, tourism, construction, business process outsourcing. We have spoken at length about the manufacturing and export and what is required in increasing manufacturing in the country, and by extension, increasing exports. We'd have recognized, and certainly one of the things that we identified taking place last year is an increase in import substitution. We'd have wanted to have seen some of that been driven by policy. What took place last year is that it was forced by the economic and logistic realities of the impact of COVID across the world. So import substitution, an important component of what we view that the private sector needed to do more of to drive growth. Again, I'm not blaming everything on the government. I'm saying squarely that there's some responsibilities sitting within the private sector. There's also a view that we coined a term called cooperation. So that's cooperating, but still in competition. So some of our largest producers of products in Jamaica, when they go overseas, they cooperate. They share shipping containers, they share distribution routes. So whilst they're competing in Jamaica, and they're competing internationally, to go into the larger markets, there's strength in numbers, so they're competitors who are cooperating. We've consistently said, acknowledged by the government and everybody else in the business community, that attention to MSMEs is critical to sustainable growth. We recognize that notwithstanding investments, if we are not increasing productivity, we will be unable to compete effectively or efficiently against the larger markets that are producing high volumes. And of course, we need to transition our economy. We use this term, the new economy. The new economy is just a, I won't say misnomer, it's a terminology that we use to say our economy needs to be more technology driven. Rolls into productivity, but certainly rolls into a new set of businesses that ought to be created for the future of our country. And so whilst I mentioned the two entities, government and private sector, I'll leave you with a third point. That third point is the removal of impediments. So we have a significant gray economy in Jamaica. We need to, I use the term blacken the gray economy. We need to move the gray economy into mainstream contribution to economic viability of our country. Very similarly, we also believe that the tax structure that exists is not optimum for the country and for businesses in Jamaica. So there's a slew of things that we want to see take place, because it's our view that this is what will cause resuscitation of our economy. And so I'm going to come back to this because this is going to be the yardstick by which I measure whether or not the budget has delivered what we're looking for. So I'm mindful of time. The Minister of Finance gave almost a 4-hour presentation. And I just want to recap, just to refresh in our minds on a couple of key points. So as I mentioned before, We expect contraction of about 12% by the time we come to end of March. This is a couple of days away. We'd have seen a 12% contraction in the economy. And that is the worst economic contraction in Jamaica's history. So by extension, some of us will remember 1975 and what we felt was taking place in the country. That was only 6.5%. In 2009, when we had the huge economic meltdown across the world, that caused a 3.2% economic contraction in Jamaica. So you look at those numbers and other numbers. In 1980, it was a 5.7%. In 1974, it was a 3.9%. It's 12% in the past year. Phenomenal difference. In fact, having looked at all industries last year, we recognize that only the construction sector is poised for growth, and that's a very modest positive growth in 2020, 2021. Talking about jobs, so it took us 4 years to add 100,000 jobs, right? So the 4 years leading up to 2019 took us 4 years to add 100,000 jobs. In 2020, in 4 months, we lost 130,000 jobs. The good news for us is that throughout all of this, our nominal debt has remained flat, so we've not added new debt. The fact that we have not needed to add new debt, we know that the debt to GDP has grown to 110%. And for those of us who have been following it, that reduction, we spoke about the 11% reduction in income to the government. That reduction on the GDP is really what has caused our debt to GDP to move from 97% to 110%. So if we're not growing debt and we need to get that debt to GDP down, we've got to grow GDP. We've got to grow economic activity or GDP contribution in the country. So that reduction in GDP is expected to be about 70% decline, about a $70 billion decline, sorry. $70 billion decline in revenues in 2020, 2021. Our business is in the tourism sector. So it's a 70% contraction in the tourism industry. That's like a 30-year setback in terms of foreign exchange earnings. So foreign exchange inflows have been decimated. Now, a little green shoot, remittances has gone up by about 600 million. So the diaspora has responded, and I think the stimulus packages that we've seen in North America have flown through into Jamaica. So our foreign exchange situation isn't as deleterious as it could have been. We've seen a fall in imports. Again, nothing unique to us. We've seen it across many other countries, but certainly that becomes a part of our reality. So the fall in imports is good, ought to be good, because it means it requires less foreign exchange, and it creates an opportunity for income substitution. So let me use that as to provide a view of what those points I raised of what was in the budget, what came out of last year, and what we're looking into this year, into 2021-22. Now, the Minister of Finance, he made a good presentation. He is really coming to his own in owning that space and presenting to us what's taking place on an economic, in the economy of Jamaica, and what needs to take place from a fiscal standpoint. We can see very clearly from his presentation that the aim was to stimulate economic recovery and to provide some social support while maintaining fiscal responsibility. We can see all the elements of fiscal responsibility going through, and we'll speak a bit more, I'll mention a bit more on that, but at the same time, looking to stimulate some economic recovery. That said, the view that the Chamber has is that the continued medium-term attention to fiscal balance, notwithstanding, the significant short-term impact, short-term adverse budget impact from COVID-19, we have of the view that bolder steps could be taken in ensuring a clearer path to recovery. So the positives, no new taxes, right? We all smile, we all nod our head and say, 4 years running, no new taxes. It's great to hear. Certainly, I think it would have been hard pressed to put new taxes on the people of Jamaica in this difficult time. But there are other things that we've been looking for that has come with the budget. An independent central bank, independent fiscal oversight body, that's the replacement for EPOC. A reduction in the CAF, the Customs Administration fee. And then this term that we use, reverse corporate inversion. Basically, we're saying let's bring the head offices of large multinationals back into Jamaica. We lost a number of them in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Let's put policies in place to bring back those headquarters back into Jamaica. All really great things. In fact, one of the points that he made is that he's looking to modernize the Income Tax Act. I smile when I hear it. We have been hearing modernizing of the Income Tax Act for 20, 30 years, and it hasn't happened. So glad to see it. I wanted to see implementation. So let's take it off our wish list and let's make it happen. So as you'd have heard, there's quite a few positives in the budget presentation. Spin that around to the conversation around the balanced budget. So the opposition has a view, and of course the government has a view. In normal times, everybody wants to see a government balance their budget, or indeed have surpluses like a Singapore for a rainy day. What we have seen everywhere else, in virtually every other country in the world, is that deficits in times of crisis are not considered to be a bad thing. They're envisioned as stimulus, right? So it is not, in fact, it's not just a stimulus, it is basically plugging a gap. So COVID-19 creates a gap. It is difficult to maintain. So you can do one of the two things: tighten your belt and continue to ensure you take no ongoing budget deficits or take on no additional loans. Or as many other countries in the world have done, they've said, look, we need something to get us through this period. So certainly the opposition has said, reduce your primary surplus. Obviously, it's probably a good way to say reduce your primary surplus and not say the way to do that is that you have to fund it via loans. Obviously, the funding for it would need to be via loans. It's a debate that takes place. I would say the chamber is of the view that taking a deficit, it doesn't have to be a large amount, can be a relatively small amount for a specific purpose. So you're taking that deficit to facilitate that bottom line GDP growth. If you're taking it for that purpose and you can drive the GDP growth, it is not a bad thing. But a point for us to all continue to debate, and the minister and myself have debated for about an hour one-on-one on this topic about a week ago, or just a couple of days ago, in fact. So the balanced budget is one area to continue to talk about. The budget has other incentives, and from the chamber's perspective, we don't believe that there's anything wrong with incentives. As long as incentives are rules-based, they are fair, and they encourage activity that would otherwise not take place. The minister announced 3 new small business funds. We are very pleased to see that. We appreciate it. We think they're the right things to do. We believe that it could be on a larger scale and a bit more risk absorbing, and I will mention 2 points on that shortly. But again, good things. We have, I think there's about $3 billion in those small business funds. We believe it's the right thing in enabling an environment for small businesses to rebuild themselves, get over their challenges, and provide a growth for the economy. Jobs. Whilst the budget doesn't speak to jobs, in fact, there's only one aspect of the budget that really speaks to jobs. we spoke earlier that we've lost 10.7% of our unemployment numbers have gone up to about 10.7%. That 10.7% includes a recognition that we lost 130,000 jobs in 4 months. We need to generate jobs. The budget doesn't speak enough to what are the incentives for generating more jobs or the mechanisms that will enable more jobs. And I'm going to spin over and speak about the SURF program. It's one of the most talked about elements of the budget. $33 billion from the BOJ dividend being redirected to facilitate a $60 billion program for the country. No question. $10 billion for Ministry of Health to get the vaccine and deal with the COVID program. No debate. I don't think I've not heard certainly from any of the pundits or anybody in corporate or civil society that they would redirect that money anywhere else. We have about $30 billion for infrastructure projects. Now, you recall when I spoke about resuscitation of the economy, I spoke about government and private sector, and I mentioned that the government's biggest trigger is around infrastructure projects. Now, in medium and good times, infrastructure projects are always the right thing because you would stimulate economic activity. What we don't know, and certainly we're not measured to date, is what is the flow through from those infrastructure projects into the hands of the Jamaican population and back into the economy. So, there's a view construction projects are probably a better place to put it than infrastructure projects. What if we took some of that money for infrastructure projects and redirected it to MSMEs? Because when you go through those large infrastructure projects, if we don't know how much is getting through the big contractors into the hands of people who will actually spend it in the economy versus shoring up the profit line of a business or paying off debt to a foreign nation, what we want to do is ensure that more of those funds are actually getting into the hands or getting into the economy. So I talk about infrastructure projects. There's about $5 billion in the SURF program that's set aside for businesses affected by COVID. We believe that that sum ought to be larger. If the focus is on jobs creation, we know certainly information we're seeing is somewhere in the region of 23% to 30% of businesses say they don't believe they're going to be around 6 to 12 months from now. That's a huge number, 30%, right? So the business and consumer confidence indices say 23%. The parish chambers have done a poll and they've come back and said approximately 30%. That's 23 to 30% of our small businesses are saying that they don't know that they'll last another 6 to 12 months. Small businesses employ more Jamaicans than all the large companies put together. So if we speak about a focus required for job creation, and we don't pay attention to enabling those small businesses, helping them through the challenges, we're pragmatic and saving jobs, we will certainly not get the kind of growth being targeted at. The minister mentioned a 5.2% growth target. We would love to see it. We believe that is somewhat aggressive. But we can talk about what the real numbers are. We believe if we want to hit the 5.2%, we've got to put more behind supporting MSMEs and challenge businesses through this difficult time. So a pathway to recovery. I started off by sharing a view of the things that are required for resuscitation. So there's some things the budget doesn't cover. It doesn't cover a sector focus, and I don't believe it should have. So I think it's not a bad thing. So it doesn't say we're going to focus on supporting tourism or construction or BP or agriculture. It doesn't pick winners. Our view is that winners are going to be picked by investors. They're going to be picked by the business community. They're going to be picked by the consumers deciding where to spend their money. So that's fine. Budget doesn't speak about import substitution, but we do know that import substitution is taking place. It doesn't touch on the blackening of the great economy. So there are a number of these areas that aren't touched on. However, there are some big areas the budget touches on. So it does provide a start for the recovery. It does channel some money into the large infrastructure projects that we mentioned earlier. It does channel money into the MSMEs and recognizing how critical MSMEs are to sustainable growth. I think there's somewhere in the region of about $8 billion. There's 3 small business funds, another $5 billion for COVID challenged businesses. So we believe that that $8 billion is a good start. We do believe that we could be bolder in that regard. The new economy that's transitioning to the technology, I think about $1 billion has been set aside to enable more businesses to go digital. The promise of revisiting the tax structure, I will take that and place that over here. A conversation always to have, it needs to take place. It's not going to have any immediate impact in our recovery over the next 3 to 4 years. And the budget does speak to recovery. It speaks to the public sector modernization program, amongst other areas. So, if I look at and I have a chart that sort of maps out, here are all the things that we think are important, how many of the boxes are checked. And I would say 8 of the most critical boxes are checked on the pathway to recovery. So does the budget, answer the question, does the budget provide a pathway to recovery? Yes, it does. Are we going to get 3.8% or 5.2% growth? The jury is out on that. So whilst it provide a pathway to recovery, I believe it's fraught with risks. We believe that taking a larger bet on enabling businesses to remain open through this period, ensuring less businesses fail. So some businesses will fail, unfortunately, but to ensure less businesses fail and that we provide an opportunity for jobs so money can flow into the economy and drive GDP activity. We believe that the budget could have been bolder in that regard. Notwithstanding a good budget, we just got to get our shoulders behind the wheel and drive to delivering the recovery that's absolutely necessary for this country. President, I'm going to stop there. I said I was going to try to do this within 20 minutes. I think I've gone about 25. But I certainly just want to provide a context and provide a view as to what we believe is important and whether or not the budget actually covers the expectations. And I will leave it there. And if you have time, I'll take a few questions.
Thank you for a very pragmatic and balanced presentation. And at this time, we open the floor to questions. And we just ask persons to proceed with the questions.
President Richard?
Yes, LG Hugh.
Thank you for the opportunity to kick off the question segment and to ask a question of my good brother and friend, the LGE. The question is, in the context of hospitals being full, in fact, some hospitals have exceeded their COVID capacity and are now converting non-COVID wards into COVID wards. And in terms of our increasing positivity rate, what is the Chamber's position on the question of a lockdown to allow for the halting of the transmission of the virus, which seems to be befed by inadequate work from home responses and the situation where
we seem to have lost LG Hugh, but I think
no, I was still hearing him.
Oh, sorry, I'm hearing him.
No, he's on. He's still on.
Oh, he's still on. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So the question is simply, what is the Chamber's response to the question of a lockdown?
Yeah. You know, this question has been asked a number of times over the last couple of days. You have asked it slightly differently, but notwithstanding. So the chamber is not for a lockdown. We are supportive of the steps that have been taken by the government in this regard, in terms of increasing the restrictions that exist. There's no question that the numbers, the increased cases, the hospitalizations have trended in the wrong direction, and we need to take serious steps to reverse that. We know that a serious lockdown, our economy is not structured to take any lengthy lockdown. And for a lockdown to make sense, you probably will need to run it for 3 weeks. And you know, the Prime Minister would have spoken to the capacity of many Jamaicans to go 3 weeks without earning, to go 3 weeks with the security forces attempting to enforcing the lockdown. There's so many challenges that a total lockdown would bring. We believe that whilst we don't even really want to be closed at any point in time, no business wants to be closed in this period. We're already restricted in the time that we're open. We would want to maximize the opportunity for opening our businesses and allowing customers to engage us. That said, the situation is so dire that we are supportive that steps need to be taken. We believe the steps taken in relation to the weekend lockdown, that's what we're calling it, is appropriate. And our ask of Jamaicans is to continue to observe the protocols, observe the curfews. Let us pull together to bring the numbers down, because if we do this implementation and the numbers are not coming down, then obviously more drastic measures may need to be taken. We don't want to get there.
Thank you. I just add to that, persons might be aware, but I'm engaged in the remittance business, and there's been a surge in remittances over the past week in anticipation of the lockdown. So persons are already reaching out to their relatives overseas for financial support. So it sort of signals that many persons are in a very...
They're preparing themselves.
Yes.
President.
We're open to another question.
Yes, President.
Director Warren has raised his hand.
Yes, all right. And we have, is it IPDT Ralston?
Yes, I will hold.
Yes. All right, we'll have Director Warren, and then you'll follow through. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, President. Not you, President, not the president.
I know which president you're talking. Past President McDonald, yes.
Yes. I've had the good fortune to listen to 2 excellent presentations today. You know, the DLG Lloyd at the directors' meeting today, the chamber directors' meeting, gave a excellent presentation, as I said, and tonight he has actually did what he did today. So I think we're very fortunate. Lloyd has definitely, and he has shown it, that he's has an intimate knowledge of the budget, and I think we are the beneficiaries of his knowledge. So I'd just like to thank him again for his presentation. My quick question, though, I know we have been a little cagey in trying to project or predict the growth in the economy, but given the facts as they are in the budget, I know the government has projected 5.something%. You have any idea where you think is a more realistic? I know I may be putting you on the spot, but
I'm pleased that you refer to me as having an intimate knowledge of the budget. I'm far from being an economist like so many others. Denzel Williams, Pro Vice Chancellor Denzel Williams, indicated that he thinks 3.7, 3.8% is probably a more realistic number, given what he's seen. And his view is that we need another $20 billion infused for us to get to 5.2%. So I can share his numbers, but I to be honest, I don't have a good feel. I anticipate that we're going to see at least 2 or 3 supplemental budgets throughout the course of the year. I've become aligned to the view that the minister is holding the numbers tight, particularly on the budget side, particularly on the funding side of the budget, ensuring no deficit. I think he's holding it tight to see what's going to happen over the next 5-6 months. And if he's not seeing the growth and GDP numbers desired, we will see a supplemental budget coming out. But at this point in time, Denzel's number is 3.7 to 3.8, unless we get more money to stimulate both small businesses, but also providing funds for the more socially challenged in our country.
Thank you.
President, I see two other hands, DLG Easton and Ava Maria from Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. Are you hearing us, President?
Ralston was next in line.
Yes, we have IPDT Ralston. We'll leave the lady and we'll have DLG Stan.
Thank you, President. My good friend and brother, I greet you well.
I greet thee well.
As you alluded to earlier, the MSME and certainly the informal part of the economy is essential for growth in Jamaica. Are you satisfied that proper and enough focus is being placed on those sectors? I'm talking about the person selling on the street, the markets and all that type of thing. Is there support for them in the budget?
Yeah, there is no real support for them in the budget. The monies that are going into the small business funds and even for the what is called the challenged MSMEs are largely going to be focused, as I understand it at this point in time, is largely going to be focused for registered businesses that would qualify for going to a bank or the DBJ for funding. So many of our unbanked will be challenged to access some of these funds. Now, what is on the SURF program, the government could ostensibly use some of that $5 billion in the SURF program to redirect to persons who are, I don't say the informal community, because they'll go back to like the barbers, the beauticians, some of the small bars that they spoke about when they did the first care package. Some of that $5 billion could go into that direction, but there's no indication that that's the case. It does appear that it's going to be entities that are part of the formal business community that can prove that their business is challenged. And those are the companies that will have access to this funding.
Okay, we now move over to our lady, or female guest. Could you identify yourself for my benefit?
Yes, good evening. This is Kiwanian Ava Maria from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay.
Yes,
thank you. And I'm here with a guest this evening. We have questions, but I'm going to allow him to pose the question to you. All right, this is Clinton, my guest.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. Great presentation. I have a 3-part question. I'll make it very brief, if you don't mind. First and foremost, you mentioned investment as a way of growing the economy, government investment. I'm curious to find out what percentage of Jamaican content do you plan to have in those infrastructure projects, i.e. building, construction? How many Jamaicans, what percentage of the contracts will be awarded to Jamaicans? Secondly, did the government actually, or have you identified or quantified the impact of crime on the GDP? And thirdly, are there any talks of building centers of excellence for future generations, i.e. is there an area that Jamaica will actually focus on and kind of liaise with academia to create these centers of excellence so the youth can actually have things to aspire to absorb them when they actually leave universities or school.
Firstly, our guest speaker is not the minister. So we're inviting his opinions on those subjects that you raised.
Sorry, I just want to interject a second. There are a number of mics that are open and it's causing disturbance. Please keep your mics closed until you are going to speak. Please.
Unmute everybody, and President, you can unmute yourself. All right, as you're ready to speak.
So that's a three parts, and I mean, excellent questions. I will try to summarize responses very quickly. So on the first question in relation to the infrastructure projects, you've asked the very same question that I've been throwing out there. When we look at these large infrastructure projects, how many of them actually stay with, how many of them actually flow through to the persons and entities we really want to see? So how many of those investments flow through to small businesses, small construction companies, and or to employees of people working in the construction industry? Because we speak about, trying to fill the gap of 130,000 jobs. A large, I don't know the hard numbers, but if I say one of these large infrastructure projects running at somewhere in the region of $500 million or $1 billion employs 1,000 persons on a particular stretch of roadway. That's 1,000 out of 130,000. Glad to get the 1,000, but if we're not seeing a significant increase in employment, if we're not getting some of that money from the large conglomerates or international conglomerates into the hands of Jamaican businesses, that's a cause for concern. So a really great question. Unfortunately, I'm unable to answer that hard number. I have asked the minister, I did ask the minister to provide some information on how does that money flow through and what are we seeing from large infrastructure projects flowing through. I believe the second question was in relation to crime. So the numbers that we have heard is somewhere in the region of, the studies that we've shown, so the large quantified study that came around in 2017 indicated that crime could have an impact as much as 7% of GDP. A huge number, 7% of GDP being impacted by crime. So again, anywhere in the region of about $60 billion is the impact of crime. And the third question, if you could remind me.
Centers of excellence, like cooperating with academia, research.
So there have been increasing conversations. In fact, as far back as 2019, we started conversations with the University of West Indies, the UTEC, the University of West Indies Heart Trust, around the gap that the business community is seeing in terms of the trained and qualified personnel versus what we're seeing in terms of the new employment regime. Not enough is being done in that regard. So the conversations are taking place. Not enough, I would be one of the first to acknowledge, not enough is taking place in that regard to align our future needs as a country with what's coming out of the out of academia, out of the tertiary institutions, as well as the vocational institutions as well. A conversation with David McBean yesterday from the Mona School of Business. He has committed to grabbing it on behalf of the chamber and sort of bringing everybody back to the table and have a conversation around human capacitation, which is the terminology we've been seeing. We need to close that gap on human capacitation to ensure what we are training and building now will provide a future for us for 5-10 years going forward. Okay. But that's a really great question. It's a huge gap we need to fill.
We have DLGE, Stan Dunwell.
Mr. President, I'm not interrupting, but I am concerned that our brother, DLG Trevor Christian, seems to be in a very reclining position for a long time.
Okay.
Could someone give him a call? I don't have his number.
Yes, I'll give him a call. So over to you, DLG Stan.
Thanks, President Richard. I would like to direct my question to President and distinguished Lieutenant Governor Lloyd. It has to do, thanks for your very good presentation, which I did enjoy and followed it very keenly. I am speaking on the matter of procurement. The minister and yourself did speak of the fact that in the budget, there's a very large, one of the largest segment in the capital expenditure. But he did show some concern that the capital expenditure in the budget may not be realized because of the difficult procurement procedures that exist in Jamaica. You did mention it early in your presentation this evening. Yeah. And this has been going on for quite some while now. Professor Trevor Monroe in his NIA show concern about procurement, and he would want even more stringent measures be put into the procurement procedure. But while all these stringent methods are put in the procurement procedure, nothing is going to happen. It takes up to 18 months, and the budget here is 12 months, up to 18 months to get some projects passed. Is there anything that the Chamber of Commerce can do to help to lessen the period or to make the procurement procedure more efficient? Thank you. That's my question.
I'm going to treat that one as a takeaway. We have been arguing for many years for the government procurement process to be more inclusive of small businesses. We got it. The minister came back to us in 2019, announced the legislation they were putting in place to facilitate more small businesses participating in the procurement process. A few months later, it was actually passed. So it wasn't only promised, it was actually passed. It is due a revisit to say, if it's now passed, what were the numbers like? What percentage of projects went to small businesses 2 years ago, and what are we seeing now? As well as to take another view in terms of what the challenges are around the inefficiencies. We have not had another swipe at a concerted effort to say, here are the changes that we would want to see. So I am taking a note of that as a point I will pick back up on. Thanks for raising it. We really have not spent enough time on it ourselves.
Well, I'll just briefly comment. The Public Procurement Commission was recently restaffed. It's a new entity. We're seeing challenges there in the process because, I mean, you have new staff there. Yeah. But generally, MSMEs have myriad of other problems, even with the existing situation, even if it's modified. What they call it, security, tender security, all those myriad of things. So I think at another time, maybe we could have a more focused discussion on that aspect, given our constraints this evening.
All right, I will get some more information. I'm happy to come back at some future occasion and have a conversation specifically on that.
Yes,
and I will also be able to speak with because I'm very close to what Trevor Monroe is asking for in terms of some more stringent measures. It's really about government procurement or government funding getting into the hands of in criminals and criminal gangs, but I'm happy to come back and speak on both of those points at a future occasion.
I think we will invite you back, and just to say that academia sometimes don't always appreciate operationalizing certain functions or what we call the machinery of state. So I think we'll invite you back maybe with another panelist on that. Okay.
Happy.
I see.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, DLG Lloyd.
Sure.
I see DP Lloyd's hand up, President.
Say again?
DP Lloyd Barnett's hand was.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have DP Lloyd Barnett as the final question or comment this evening to our guest speaker, given the challenges of time. Go ahead, DP Lloyd.
Yeah. Lloyd Barnett Jr. speaking here. I appreciate the time you've taken to share with us this evening. Now, for the longest time I've heard talk about not being able to measure the underground economy. And you know, it has struck me that this pandemic has that are coming through the remittance services are monies that were coming into this country before. But we wouldn't see them through the remittance services because the visitors were traveling with that fund in their pocket. And this
seem to be breaking up, DP Lloyd.
Well, I'm not sure how much of what you've heard, but I'm saying that the underground economy could very well be measured by the large inflows that we see now through the remittance services, which were coming in before when people were visiting this country, as opposed to sending it through.
Okay.
We're seeing over the last year.
Yes. So the numbers, I was speaking to this somewhere in the middle of last year, it's called the underground economy, the gray economy, being somewhere in the region of as much as possibly 60% of the total economy. So I've heard 40%, I've heard 60%. Anywhere in that range between 40 and 60%, that's a huge impact. And so whilst the remittances and this, the additional 600 million we've seen come through remittances, ostensibly some of that could have been returning residents or Jamaicans from overseas, bringing the money and spending it locally. The view that, the comments that we got from the Q4 confidence indices, so that's the January confidence indices, was the feedback was that the relatives overseas were just contributing more, and not so much that it's substituting for money they would have brought in from overseas. But it is, I'm always wary of trying to shoot from the hip on what is the answer, what is the numbers. You've raised a point and it could very well be a significant contributor. But certainly, if we talk about 40 to 60% of GDP, that $600 million is not touching it.
Okay, all right. Well,
if you would allow me, President Richard, just very quickly, I saw a question in the chat from DP Chris Robinson in relation to cooperation. And our discussions around cooperation was about encouraging, is actually addressing the point I believe you want us to address, which is encouraging smaller businesses to come together to strengthen their ability to go into new markets. So the large people are already doing it. The Grace Kennedy and Lascaux shipping together to go into Canada as an example. We're not seeing enough of that for smaller businesses. And our encouragement here is for smaller businesses, let's not think that we're competing with each other. When we have a big contract, let us pool our, even a large construction contract locally, let us pool our resources to go after that contract, because otherwise we would never be able to, they would never be able to compete with a larger institution. So I just wanted to provide that assurance in our perspective.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, well, this has been an excellent presentation. I'm going to invite PDT Ralston Nunes to bring the vote of thanks.
Thank you, President, members of this great club, and all my fellow Kiwanians. Good afternoon. In 2014, it was with some amount of apprehension that I introduced a young man to the then Division 23 East. That apprehension quickly dissipated after about a month or two. And I figured that the division was in good hands. That assessment continued and has improved over the years. And tonight, we see the blossoming of that 2014 introduction to the division. I am absolutely proud of my friend and brother, not only for what he has become, but that he has come here this evening and made what I would consider an excellent delivery on some solid points, very balanced, not in support or in disagreement of anything, but just putting the facts on the table. The quality of delivery is unquestioned, but certainly the questions that have been generated indicate that it was a very interesting topic and one that we have just started to break the ice. And so I am happy that he has indicated his willingness to come back so that we can continue the discussion. It is my absolute pleasure on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston to move this vote of thanks to show my appreciation to my friend and brother for having graced us with his presence and to provide in a very balanced manner his views on the budget that was presented. I thank him on behalf of all of us, not only Kingston, but all who is on the platform this evening. And we do wish him very, very well. Thank you.
And PDT,
you're going to display it, Desmond?
It's displayed. You're not seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing it. I was wondering if it was mine. Okay, go ahead. That's all right.
Yeah.
I will present it to him at a later date, President, but I also know that he doesn't have space on his wall for anything like this. So.
It's from King. If it's from Kingston, I always find space. So.
Okay.
Yes. LG Lloyd, on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, it gives me pleasure to present you this virtual certificate of appreciation, and the original will be presented in due time. Once again, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, President. Thank you all.
Kiwanians and guests, we now proceed to the history of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, a presentation by DP Stuart Spencer, and that will be followed by my year's president by DP Evan. Over to you, DP Stuart. DP Stuart.
We lost him.
Ask him to check his microphone.
Mike, I was just finding where your
yes.
the Zoom screen was.
Yeah.
I'd like to also share screen, so I am.
Go ahead, DP.
Okay. I think it's this one. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Let me just change something.
Man, you opened the wrong one.
No risk there. I'm just gonna go to the full screen.
Not RISQUE.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Oh no. Okay. Right. That's okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Hearing you.
Okay, good. Fellow Kiwanis and guests, I'm going to have to try and speed this through, but I'm going to encourage you to look at the screen because then I won't have to, regurgitate everything that's on the screen.
Just to say there's nothing on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not on the screen?
No.
Okay, let me go back to the Zoom platform. 1 second.
You're not calling the president nothing. I'm seeing the president.
Not at all. That's not what he meant. Okay.
Hold on, no, come on. Oh, okay, that's where it is. All right, where was this? Share screen. Bam, bam, bam. That is there. Share. Okay.
Yes.
You seeing something now?
It has finally come up, yes.
Okay.
The beginning was the word.
You can just full
All right, and I'm going back to get the view. Okay. Yes. Who had the idea? Just want to say, okay, although he may not have been the first person who had the idea, he certainly was the first to act on it. And I'm speaking here about Alan Talbot, an English insurance executive who was working in Jamaica in the early 1960s. He had attended a Kiwanis meeting at the Kiwanis Club of Nassau as a luncheon guest and was impressed with what he saw and expressed an interest in forming a club in Kingston, Jamaica. The new club building chairman of the Nassau Club agreed to help Alan. So back in Kingston, he started discussions with a number of local businessmen whom he thought would have the vision and the aptitude to grasp the concept of bringing this service club into being. One of those men, one was Frank Melhedo, who became the charter president of the club. However, the process in terms of how we got to the final stage, gradually they recruited more business and professional men who recognized the contribution the Kiwanis Club could make to a newly independent Jamaica. Remember, this is 1964. Men who are prepared to sacrifice some of their precious spare time. And the president of the Kiwanis Club of Nassau, Dean Meikle, paid several visits to Jamaica to help the process, to guide the process. Although initially the plan was to seek affiliation with the Florida district that had agreed to Jamaica becoming a part of that district, Florida later reneged. So Frank then approached the Canadian district that the Kiwanis Club of Nassau was a part of, and we were welcomed, and they welcomed Jamaica with open arms. That district was then called the Ontario, Quebec, and Maritimes, later to be renamed Eastern Canada and the Caribbean, to reflect the increasing Caribbean presence. The first pre-organization meeting was held at Sheraton Kingston Hotel
23rd?
on Tuesday, January 9, 1960. Hold on 1 second, let me go back. 1964, when 14 prospective Kiwanians embarked on the task of building the membership up to the required minimum 25. This number was soon surpassed. And on March 24, 1964, the 5,224th club in Kiwanis International was organized. It was the, I'm trying to get rid of something else which is on my screen. Okay, I think I know how to get rid of it. Good. So I could get to read everything. Yes. I think there's some confusion about whether they were a third club in the Caribbean or the second, but I won't bother to spend time on that. That's not too relevant. On May 16, 1964, when International President-elect Edward B. Moreland presented the charter at a banquet at the Sheraton Kingston Hotel, the membership stood at 71. From very early, there was a determination from the leadership, and I know this came specifically from the charter president, Frank, because he told me this in an interview I did with him many, many years ago, that the club, he had really been serious about the club not being a knife and fork club, and that the members would be required to participate vigorously in community service activities and in general activities that tended to depend on charity. Since those early days, many things have changed. We no longer meet at that hotel that was once the Sheraton, then the Hilton and the Wyndham. And because of a fire, the club lost much of its memorabilia. And after a few venue changes over the years, our meeting place has been our secretariat in the National Chest Hospital in the blood collection center that we built for the Ministry of Health that was completed in 1996. And then came the pandemic. So now we meet on Zoom. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to touch on some of the major products that we have covered and then end with some of the clubs that we have formed. So I'll just touch on a few. Starting in 64, 66, we established a daycare center at St. Margaret's Church to accommodate 40 children. So just read along and I won't have to spend time going through each one. So I'll move the slides quickly along, moving along. The occupational therapy unit attached to the psychiatric ward at the University Hospital was built. And in 1968, fully equipped, air-conditioned, 16-bed maternity hospital in Tivoli Gardens was constructed. This project won the top award in Kiwanis International for a single service project for clubs with 76 members and over. In 69-70, a vocational guidance center was erected on lands belonging to St. Margaret's Church. This was operated collectively by the churches in the Hope and Ligonier area. A bus was donated to the Boy Scout. Sorry. My fingers were moving a little too fast. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Yes, a bus was donated to the Boy Scout Association and a scholarship was awarded to attend Jamaica School of Agriculture. This was in 71, 72. And then in 75, the Ozanam home on Mannings Hill Road, operated by the St. Vincent de Paul Society, was the beneficiary of an extension to accommodate 20 additional residents at a doctor's office and a reception area. A home was also built to accommodate 50 abandoned children at the Nest on Mannings Hill Road, operated by the Salvation Army. In 1978, we built an extension to the Denham Town Basic School to accommodate 50 children, as well as a kitchen with the necessary equipment. 1982, established an information booth at the University Hospital of the West Indies for the purpose of informing and directing visitors to the different facilities on the hospital compound. In 1985, we established the Kiwanis Club of Kingston's Police Trust Fund to assist members of the police force who suffer injury in the line of duty and to assist dependents of members who die in the line of duty. In 1989, in the aftermath of Hurricane Gilbert that hit Jamaica on September 12, 1988, the Kiwanians in Canada came to our rescue by shipping millions of dollars worth of relief supplies, which we were able to distribute through the Salvation Army using the National State Arena as a distribution center. The project became our major project for which we were recognized internationally. Moving up to 1996, completed the construction of a blood collection center and laboratory on the grounds of National Chest Hospital on Barbican Road. The project was conceived as creating greater convenience for the general public to donate blood, as many persons had grown apprehensive about going down to Slipe Road, where the main blood collection center is. 1998, a skills training center was built on the grounds of St. Michael's Church on Victoria Avenue. 2001, built a classroom and sick bay at the United Basic School on Red Hills Road. We also built sanitary conveniences at Board Villa in Hannahtown and refurbished Ambrook Lane Basic School. And we also relocated and refurbished the Zenith Learning and Preparatory School at Derrimore Road and established a play area. In 2003, we built a restroom in the Norman Gardens All-Age School, also established a playground at the New Hope Preparatory School, refurbished the reading room at Almond Town Primary, and refurbished and repainted classrooms at St. Andrew Primary School. In 2005-2006, refurbished the residence of Walker's Place of Safety that housed over 40 homeless children. And later in 2009-10, built a security wall at the Arnold Road Methodist Church Basic School. In 2011, the previously built Tivoli Gardens, we had to do a refurbish. We refurbished it in It was built in 1968 and we refurbished it in 2011 in collaboration with the Ministry of Health with a $20 million grant from the Chase Fund. Having built the blood collection center at the National Chest Hospital, we have forged a long-lasting relationship with the blood bank at Slipe Road. This was led largely by past director Dudley Ball, who, as you know, is now deceased. And over the recent years, we supplied them with a new blood plasma refrigerator and financed the refurbishing of several others. Our goal is to assist them in procuring and maintaining equipment for the optimum preservation of blood supplies. A little word on our secretariat. We now have architectural drawings approved by the KSAMC for the expansion of our secretariat. We have continued to improve the facility with, for example, the acquisition and installation of a 24,000 BTU AC unit and made the facility available as a meeting place for other clubs and or division. All of the above was done by club members. Just a little mention of some favorite service projects, the Key Club debating competition, the Builders Club oratorical competition, the Youth in Excellence project. And you know, some of these have been adopted by persons in the wider society and of a higher level of importance. I just quick mention of Let Little Hearts Beat Stronger, which is no longer a project that we now do, but which saw us sending, I mean, many young children to the Geisinger Medical Center for treatment. This is in the United States, where they did open heart surgery or whatever the surgery was that was required. And we're also proud of our Senior Citizens Concert, which is on hiatus, of course, during this period of COVID. A little bit on the clubs we formed. You know, the Club of Kingston has always felt that it had a responsibility to expand the movement through the length and breadth of Jamaica and also the wider Caribbean below. Below is a listing of the clubs we have formed along with their organization and date. And I'll just mention them. Some persons might think that the first club we formed was in Jamaica, but that was not the case. And you'll see where the first 3 clubs were not in Jamaica. First, there was the Kiwanis Club of Curacao, then Aruba, and then San Juan. To know San Juan is no longer, I think they moved to the Florida district, so they no longer became under our whatever you'd call it, leadership. The Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay was the first Jamaican club that we formed. And then the Kiwanis Club of Ocho Rios, followed by downtown Kingston, then Mandeville, and then Kiwanis Club of St. Thomas. Then we had the Kiwanis Club of Spanish Town, and then New Kingston, and Mona, and then the Kiwanis Club of Kingstown, that is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Since then, we have done the Kiwanis Club of Barbican and the Kiwanis Club of Worthington in Kingston. Some of these clubs were done jointly with other clubs. So just want to acknowledge that. And this is the last slide. I just want to say, keeping the focus. Many major projects have been undertaken. Many new clubs have been formed. Many service projects have been carried out. Many of our members have assumed greater leadership roles. Many young lives have been saved. Many young people have been motivated to achieve their goals. And many of the less fortunate have been helped to make their lives a little better. Many of our stalwarts have passed on. But since the focus is still to serve the children of the world, the Kiwanis Club of Kingston continues to strive to uphold the ideals of the Kiwanis movement. And that is the end of that presentation. Thanks for listening.
Sure.
Yes.
Just a correction. The Kiwanis Club of Barbican was chartered on the 100th anniversary of Kiwanis International.
Yes, it's March 24th, 2014. Did I have a different date up there?
No, that's not the date. It should be.
It should be January.
January.
Oh, January. Okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
I'll make the correction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, DP Stewart, for your in-depth research and presentation. And we now invite DP Evan Brown, for his presentation, My Year as President. DP Evan, over to you.
On mute.
Thank you, President Richard. Are you hearing me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. President Richard, distinguished Kiwanis and guests, for me, this has been a very nostalgic night. And first and foremost, President Richard, let me say how thrilled I am that your guest tonight is your mother, Mrs. Myrtle Reese. And that nostalgia for me stems from my early entry in the sugar estate life at Monimusk, when she was the secretary for the labor relations manager, Mr. Noel Rennie. And under the staff development course, I came under her influence and control from a very early age. I still recall those with pleasure. My other nostalgic moments surround the number 25. I joined the Kiwanis Club of Kingston 25 years after its formation. And here am I giving a reflection some 25 years later after I became president. DP Stewart has covered a lot of the outstanding projects done by the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So I will not venture into the areas of things like those. What I'd really like to say is that my year as president of this esteemed club for the administrative year 1995-96 was for me a remarkable and unforgettable experience. The joy of service provided through Kiwanis was epitomized by the club's practical observance of the objects of Kiwanis International. The club leadership and membership in general responded positively and supported the club goals as enunciated by the president. The main one, of course, was to introduce new and substantial programs in each service committee to increase the scope and impact of service committees in order to assist a greater number of those most in need. What I'd like to say at the very outset is that I was a witness to the wonderful year of 95-96. I was just one of a strong team of members. And when I look back on the team that was with me, it read like a who is who in the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So it's been very nostalgic for me. Indeed, and in fact, we introduced 22 new members that year, 3 of whom are right here now, and I will tell you. We had, in his first year as chairman, we had a dynamic chairman of Interclub Union Fellowship, DP Chris Robinson. We had DP Desmond Batchel, who joined that year. We have PDT Ralston, who joined that year. And we have our director, Warren, who joined that year. It was an incredible year. As you have heard, we won a number of awards at the international and district conventions. As a matter of fact, the delivery of several meaningful projects during the year was particularly impactful and was achieved in a spirit of service, fun, fellowship, and camaraderie. That, together with the training and exposure that was garnered at the divisional, district, and international meetings and conventions, represented exposure so rich, rewarding, and motivational that this demanded the easy passage of sharing with members, not only by me as president, but by the 16 members of our club who attended those conferences. It was incredible. At the end, we achieved the objectives that we set out at the beginning. It was topped by one final memory, which was a fitting achievement for our club when the first international president of Kiwanis International outside of the United States, Kiwanis International President Ejiofor Ede Sogerson and his wife visited Jamaica, and the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, we were delighted during the luncheon that we hosted. Our own DLGE, Mike Henriquez, received from the international president the George F. Hickson Award for 10 years administration of the sponsored youth movement in Jamaica. That was exceedingly exciting. Those were exciting times. And since we, in fact, got a number of awards for our bulletin, I decided that the best way to do would just be to give you two quotations from those bulletins that I found today just in looking back through my records. There was a column called Last Lick, and on the edition of, let's see what it was, April 1996, Last Lick said, "What have you done for your club, community, or country recently? Remember that Kiwanis presents endless opportunities for altruistic service." Just a thought, enthusiasm. It has been described as a contagious mental condition of an undefined origin. It is said to be highly addictive. It increases efficiency and productivity of its followers. In every task to which it is applied, it changes toil to pleasure. It is the ingredient that assures success in club operation and member retention. Do you have it? Then you have an obligation to infect others. This is a necessary part of Kiwanis club operation and member retention. Both of these are one-on-one processes. To be effective, each member must continually grow in Kiwanis. I commend to all Kiwanians, not only for our club, to all Kiwanians, that this is a truism. That, in essence, wraps up my memory of my year as president, thanks to a wonderful club which continues to serve beautifully throughout. Thank you very much.
Very good, sir.
Yes.
Thanks, DP, man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The ease of dispatch. Yes.
Spokesman.
I now turn to PD David Hall, a tribute to past presidents.
Thank you, President.
David, Mr. President, may I move a motion for extension so that we can complete the business of the club?
Yes, and could we have a second motion for another 15 minutes?
Second.
Okay, thank you for that on the point of order. Over to you, Director David.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everyone. it is a distinct pleasure of mine to be asked to raise a tribute to the presidents of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Since the inception of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston on March 24th, 1964, the cumulative contribution of 20,805 days of committed time, the vast experiences and infinite wisdom of 54 presidents spanning the past 57 years are the pillars on which the Kiwanis Club of Kingston stands tall today. We recognize our distinguished charter president, R. Frank Meleda, who led with excellence. The sixth president of the United States, John Quincy Adams, said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and become more, you are a leader." These men who have so ably led the club over these 5 decades have weathered the storms of life with their astute leadership, unwavering passion for excellence, steel tenacity, compassion for the less fortunate, bastions of the tenets of truth and justice, and living out exemplary lives of integrity. All of us have been influenced by one or more of these presidents as our mentors, or cheerleaders, or friend. My mentor, now deceased DP Winston Clark, was an exemplary leader in that respect. DP Leo Chung, under whose leadership I was thrust into the role of Youth Services Chairman in my very first year with the club in 1988. And the current president, Richard, who is steering the ship in uncharted territories. We might say uncharted waters. They have all shared individual stories, and they all have stories that have been etched in the club's historical archives. We just heard from DP Evan and what he has remembered of his year as president. I am sure that there were times when these men felt like giving up, times when they felt overwhelmed, times when they felt alone. But we are grateful that these men of valor stepped back and looked at the larger picture as outlined in the objects of Kiwanis International, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life. We salute the 24 presidents who have departed this life, and remember with pride the legacy that they have left behind for us to follow. For this, we are grateful. We appreciate the fact that these presidents embrace the words of Nelson Mandela. There can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. Nelson Mandela also said, to which I know the presidents have embraced, says, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got up again." I am glad that these presidents acknowledge the word of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. If you do not have confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. These 54 presidents, past and current president of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, have led this club with distinction. They have sought to put those who they serve above themselves. They have led by example, for which we are appreciative. Tonight, we pay respect to the families of all the past presidents and our sitting president. We know that once you have taken on the presidency, the role of president, it becomes a family affair. Our wives and spouses, to you, we say thanks for your support over these years. To your children who have grown up many through Kiwanis, we say thanks for your support. Tonight, we celebrate the past president and our current president of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. We celebrate the legacy of the 24 presidents who are deceased. We stand on the shoulders of those 30 presidents who are alive and kicking and those who are alive but not kicking as they used to, we honor you tonight. Our presidents have distinguished themselves at all levels of service, locally, regionally, and internationally. Our past president and current president, thank you for keeping hope alive, to provide through Kiwanis clubs a practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities, to cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism, which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill. Tonight, we salute all our 54 presidents of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Your leadership will inspire a new generation of presidents. Thank you.
Thank you, Director David.
You make me cry.
Excellent. Excellent.
I said, David, but I'm hoping that word that people like me about talk about who not kicking too hard again.
Oh, I know I kicking.
Excellently done, David. Excellent.
Thank you, DP. Thank you, DP. Thank
you. Why is he hitting at me with kicking?
Members and guests, we have a surprise announcement. And at this time, I will hand over to our meeting chairman, DP Stuart Spencer, to make an announcement.
Thank you, President Richard. It is our pleasure to make a special announcement tonight. We got to thinking that when persons there should be an award for persons who have served and continue to serve. And we want, as a club, this is an award that we are introducing for the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, from the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Many persons have been in the club and have served well, and we want to make sure that they are recognized for what they have done and continue to do. So I'll just give you a few elements, and then I'll tell you what will be the name of the award. Couple of criteria. It should be a past president of the club or a Kiwanian of the year. It is not meant to be an annual award. It will be given whenever someone meets the standards that we set. And once won, cannot be won again by the same person. And the key here is someone who has given continuous service. And that is the key word that one should remember. So it's also only fitting that we name such an award in memory and honor of our most distinguished member, past Governor Carlton Levy. So it will be known as the Carlton Levy Award. And to give you some information on who the first recipient is, I'm going to ask our director and bulletin editor, Newton, to read what he has prepared.
Thank you, DP Stuart. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians and guests. I know you have had an evening chock full of information, but I beg you, listen to what I've been charged with bringing to you, because it's worth the time. All right. This year's recipient of the Carlton Levy Award is a committed ambassador who has contributed decades of dedicated service to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. His zeal for the building and maintenance of his club as a premier member of the Kiwanis family is unwavering, and his tireless service to children and the less fortunate is widely known within the Kiwanis family and the public in general. He possesses a deep and clear understanding of the history, mores, rules, and regulations of the club, and is often consulted by club presidents, officers, and the general membership for clarification of rules, Kiwanis education, and assistance with formulating bylaws. His mastery of diplomacy and protocol has helped to guide and instill confidence in many new, inexperienced officers appointed to serve the club. This gentleman has served the Kiwanis Club of Kingston with distinction in numerous capacities, including the positions of chairman, director, secretary, and president. His love of hockey, a sport in which he excelled at Monroe College, his study of the sciences, which he pursued at the UWI, and his outstanding performance as a cricket scorer have honed his skill, his keen sense of order and attention to details. These traits have contributed to his excellent performance at the club. This Kiwanian is a devoted family man whose love for his wife is matched only by his love for interclubbing and the service leadership program. The members of Builders, Key, and Circle K clubs and their alumni all know and love this man, they affectionately call Uncle and Santa Claus. Although SLP members refer to him as Santa Claus due to his distinctive white beard, it is an open secret that he is determined that they receive all necessary support and often make significant contributions to their welfare from his personal funds. His passion for the SLP program is so great that despite being seriously ill in early 2017, the most frequent inquiry from his hospital bed was about the welfare of his SLP members. He has distinguished the club by receiving several awards at the divisional level, such as the Ray Allen Award at the Kiwanis District Convention held in Montego Bay in 2017-2018. This award is earned by lieutenant governors who continue to perform at an exemplary level years after they had served their term. During his term as lieutenant governor, he achieved distinguished status. He also received the Frank Melhado Award from the Kiwanis Foundation of Jamaica in recognition of his invaluable contribution to the division. In March 2021, he was recognized as a distinguished Kiwanian advisor by the Caribbean District of CKI at their district convention. This member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston believes in leadership by example and works diligently at whatever task is assigned to him or he volunteers to undertake. He has been a member of the club since 1981, and even when his profession kept him overseas for an extended period, he remained in touch with and committed to the club. He has been recognized as Kiwanian of the Year on 4 occasions and has been distinguished president on 2 occasions. He is currently club secretary, a position he has held no less than 6 times, chairman of the Key Club Committee, chairman of the Interclub Committee, is extremely active in the fundraising committee and provides a significant amount of support to the treasurer. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiwanians, the early West Indies cricket team had its George Headley. The Kiwanis Club of Kingston has its William B. Reeson, the first recipient of the Carlton Levy Award. Thank you.
Willie.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Well,
much appreciated.
Well deserved.
Well done.
Well deserved.
And
do it without Shirley, though.
Yes, and that's one. Could you show the?
If I may, DP Stuart, DLG Willie. We had to be very careful because if we had said his devoted wife Shirley, then everybody would have known early. If you figure, everybody guessed it was you.
You can bring her in the picture.
Shirley, come in the picture. No, you're dressed.
Well deserved, Willie. Well deserved.
All right.
That's one I'd like you to read.
I'm going to ask Shirley to make herself available for those who don't know me.
New Kingston. Bend down, Shirley.
Yeah. Yeah, there you
Hey, Shirley. Good to see you.
New Kingston, yeah.
Well deserved, Willie.
Blessings, blessings. Blessings.
Blessings,
Thank you all.
And it reads, Kiwanis Club of Kingston presents Carlton Levy Award to Distinguished Lieutenant Governor William Reason.
William Beresford Reason.
Recognition of his unwavering and continuous service to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston in all areas of the club's activities. Presented this day, March 23, 2021. Congratulations, DLG Willie.
Thank you very much, DP Desmond.
Desmond, there was one line that was muffled because there was somebody speaking. The line that speaks about unwavering. Just repeat that line for me.
Recognition of his unwavering, dedicated, and continuous service to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston in all areas of the club's activities. Presented this.
Can we see it again, Desmond? Can we see it again?
Oh, sure.
Yes. Well deserved. Thanks.
Permanent Secretary.
Well deserved.
Exceedingly well deserved.
Okay, over to you, President Richard.
Thank you. DLG William, we are exceedingly happy and we really want to thank you for the years of dedicated service. You have not only reached the heights that we all strive to, but you have continued to work in the vineyards. And we appreciate you, sir, and the support that Shirley has given you. So once again, on behalf of the club, at this our 57th anniversary, congratulations. And you may wish to say a few words.
Thank you very much, President Richard. I'm really overwhelmed by this presentation this evening and the recognition that has been given to me for my sterling work, certainly since I joined this club in 1981. Many of you didn't know when I joined in 81. In fact, it was the second time I was joining the club. Because I had joined in 1979, and my sponsor at the same time was DLGE Michael Henriquez. Of course, having taken up a job out of Kingston, I didn't keep my attendance records. And we were very strict on attendance at meetings those days. If you miss after 3 weeks, they start to inquire about your absence. So I said, oh, come on in. I'll go and join, plus I'll go join Rotary. I was invited to join Rotary, and then I got called back into Kingston. And who else invited me back into Kiwanis was my sponsor, DLGE Michael Henriquez, abetted by none other than DLGE Rudyard Trevor Christian. So I must thank these two gentlemen. But gentlemen, I've enjoyed my journey through Kiwanis. I've enjoyed working with Sponsor Youth Family. I've made many friendships, and I always see people on the road, and they said, you remember me when I was in Key Club? You used to come down there, Biller's Club. Say, Uncle Willie, you remember me? But it is all fun, and this is just giving me renewed energy to continue my journey through Kiwanis. Once again, let me thank all of you for this award this evening. Blessings to you all.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. President, when I heard the thing being read out, I thought it was me until they got to the Santa Claus part.
You have a white beard.
Benny, we could tell about the clubbing experiences we had.
Yes. All those trips we had, man, was great.
Yeah, we leave that out.
Roasting. Yes. Okay, thank you. We now invite DP Earl Spencer, Sergeant of Arms.
Did you hear me, Shirley?
I'm going to, boy, this has been a very good evening, but I'm going to ask, you know, but you keep saying Sergeant of Arms, and I would not like you to spread that example. Sergeant at Arms, because I don't carry any anyway. But anyway, it's been a very good meeting. We have lost about 16 participants since it started, but I'm really happy to be in this position. The only thing I'm not happy about is not being able to really find. But boy,
Earl, let me interject. Let me interject. I did some numbers, right? And I think that by now most of our members have the account number for the club. So I think starting tonight, we are going to ask the members to just transfer the fine to the coffers of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, which other clubs are doing and we should have been doing before. So go ahead and do it and do your thing, and we will put the money in the account. We all know that. Those who don't know the account, we'll make sure they know it. Continue.
Turn off the light over your head, sir.
The difference here now, thank you, DP Stuart. But you know, the difference here now is you can't really put in less than, or else they charge you and you're in deficit. So occasionally, you must show generosity that even if I just said $500, you're putting 1,000, it will look a little better. You know what I mean? We work every week to you, but you cannot put in any small thing that nobody will even know. Maybe it's interest you're trying to clear.
There's a reflection on your head, sir.
Yeah,
Find him.
And you know, just because of that, for two things. You had to wait as long as Santa Claus part before you know it wasn't you. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, not everything rub off good from and it looked like plenty still stick from Calabar. That's why you thought so far. But I know you said it deliberately. Just like how you're talking about the reflection on my forehead. You're going to pay a nice money now, and we will recognize it.
The reflection on the forehead is correct, you know. It is caused a little bit of discomfort.
Put your cap on.
Oh man, I not wearing any cap in my mouth. But anyway, DP Evan.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why you choose the background that you do with the clothes that you put on. I never knew you were in modeling too.
Yeah.
Boy, well,
New profession. New retirement profession.
Ah, boy. Show up and show something in the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name it. We will, when we see the date that the things are put in, we will be proud of the quantity that was there for the week. DP Chris, you're still one of the big boys in the club, and you're matched by our great David Hall. So the balance of things, the two of you have to do something, right? I remember, it can't be less than $500 because we could do it some money. But the two heavyweights, you balance things, and we are glad you are there.
Nice to have assistance.
I don't know when you came back to Jamaica or if you're still where you are, but sometimes you complain about the heat or the cold. So how you dress, you must be in Jamaica. Because they don't have them weather up that time that you can wear a shirt like that even in the town.
He's near the beach.
You're right. You have to make yourself heard a little more often. Why I'm going to find you though is because the week when I couldn't do anything, you were the one who was supposed to take over. And you're missing in action.
Well,
yeah, you can put a good
I will always be able to assist you, sir. But last week wasn't one of the week.
Okay, well,
Call me next time.
Your fault. Your fault. Anyway, part of the only person I would have thought could make a mistake about this service and thing would have been DP Desmond. But I knew they were coming from far, so I knew it couldn't be somebody as recent. Congratulations, dear G. Willie. And I really congratulate Shirley because, boy, I can't say enough words, but congratulations. I'm just going to give you two little ones about this little man at the bar. He was sitting and he was complaining that he had a little problem because he kept seeing monsters under his bed. But he kind of embarrassed to tell other people. That's why he was talking soft to the bartender. But somebody overheard him. And it was a psychiatrist. And he gave him a card and said, come and check me, man. And I think when you have these little dreams like that, there's a little message there, you know, but come and see. A couple of weeks after, they brought up in the same bar. And he said, boy, I gave you my card and you didn't check me. How are things going? He says, oh, the bartender solved it. He said, you needed a trained professional to solve your mental problem. And you said the bartender solved it. What did he do? He said, I must just cut off the legs off my bed.
But the bartender can be he.
The bartender tell him, cut
Oh,
off.
about tough.
Yeah, man. And then there are another man now. You know, when they say about why don't you get stoned? This guy left work early, man. And he really drank and got stoned. 2 a.m. He decided, okay, let me make it home. When he reached home, he barely did. Struggling up the stairs. Something happened and him slipped and he fell down, man, and he had some empty pints in his back pocket and they really did him in. So he went to the bathroom, man, and he saw blood, but he wasn't feeling any pain because he was really drunk. And he did some remedy. And then he went to bed. So the morning he waking up, now I'm wondering what the wife going to say. The wife come in the room and say, boy, you really had a hard night last night. He said, no, man, I just had a few drinks. He said, a few drinks? You were plastered. He said, how you know I was drunk last night? He said, well, the first big clue was the number of band-aids that were botched on the mirror.
So I just laughing.
Yeah. That is what the thing is. And you know, Stu, we had an uncle who told me when to stop drinking, you know. He's dead now, long time. But he said he went home one night drunk and sat down on some nails that didn't know.
Yeah. President Richard, the cuff was gone up by $1,000.
Yes, and as the sergeant said, it's
But Sarge,
I'm going to stop now because
I thought you would find the LG, you can't forget the E, Rudyard Trevor Christian. He was in a very, he was looking in the top of his head for about half an hour. He got everybody worried.
You're right, sir, because when you mentioned this, I looked on the screen and there was a blotch. So his head was on the screen. Oh boy, but I never want to let him out in it because a Fortis man, but the Calabar man exposed you and I have to charge you. Serious, when I looked at the screen,
I was trying to raise him by calling 2 numbers, but you know,
If he was sleeping, he couldn't hear either. And then he came back, so boldly afterwards. You know, I remember those days, you know, guys, you go to church as a little boy, and during those who are Anglicans would have it better. And you put your head down and you're sleeping, and then your system know that, oh, it's time to get up, and you get up and think nobody see you. We catch you this time, Trevor. All right, that's all for now, and I come geared again next week. Thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you, Sarge. We invite DLG Willie to give us the announcements and interclubbing opportunities. We know that North St. Andrew also have a 47th anniversary on Thursday. Over to you, DLG Willie.
Thank you very much, President Richard. Fellow Kiwanians, we have a number of interclubbing opportunities and invitations. Tomorrow evening, we have an invitation from Capital City to interclub with them at 7 o'clock. We also have an invitation from Junction South to interclub with them at 7:30. On Thursday, we've been specially invited by Kiwanis Club of Spanish Town to their 40th anniversary meeting, which begins at 7:30. On the same evening, North St. Andrew has invited us to their 47th anniversary meeting. So we'll have to split up the lines on that evening. And in terms of announcement, I have a change of date. This has to do with the Michael Circle K bake sale.
Yes.
It is now, it was scheduled for Saturday. It is now Friday, March 26th, and the pickup for cake or any orders is going to be done on Friday. But perhaps somebody from Michael might possibly still be there and just update us on that, because we need to support them. This is one of their fundraising activities for this month. Over to you, President Richard.
Yes, thank you. We'll definitely give support to Michael Circle K's fundraising event, and we commend it to all our members to give them support. We'll be sending out additional reminders. DP Stewart will bring us the thought for the week before our toast and adjournment. Over to you, DP Stewart.
Thank you, President Richard. People will not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And the other thought I have for the week, if you never take a chance in life, you will always get the leftovers from those who did. And those are my two thoughts for the week.
Yes, the second one is very instructive. Seconds and the thirds.
Okay.
Fellow Kiwanians and guests, please join me in raising your glasses in a toast to Kiwanis International, Jamaica, land we love.
And we love.
This meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston is hereby terminated.
Good meeting, President. Good meeting.
Wonderful meeting. Very well done. Stuart,
I agree, President Trevor.
Excellent meeting, Pres.
What the Sergeant said when he said we lost 16 members, we had full house of 100.
Yes.
And when we lost 16, we were down to 84.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had members on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube live feed.
That will be over the 100.
Trevor is the best. I have heard the objects said in a long time.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking the same thing, Rastan. I mean, it was really, you know, you listen to it. Trevor, that was excellent.
Thank you, sir. Stuart, you know, told me what to do.
He sounded like a
Congrats, sir. It's a very well run program. You
Good.
continue. Well done.
GE Trevor is in his sergeant major voice, you know. Military.
Fellow Kiwanis, good night. My battery is down to 14%.
Oh, okay, Stan.
We'll get you a charger, Stan.
You need a vaccine. You need a vaccine.
Next time you charge it properly for the meeting.
You need a
But my
vaccine.
fellow Kiwanis, look at how we stuck to our first motto. We build.
Indeed.
See Ralston throwing out new waves there.
Really stuck to that motto. We build.
His intent to go to the beach for the East.
I see him go back. Man, he might have like a Kenyan one or something like that earlier. I'm going to the beach.
That doesn't look like it can swim though. You know, just...
Notice how far out the sea is.
Well,
Way down at the coconut tree.
Willie, I couldn't tell you, Willie. We spoke today, but I couldn't give you a hint.
Nothing, and didn't suspect a thing.
That's why it wasn't on the agenda, Willie. If we had put anything on the agenda,
you would have find out.
you would have find out. Because he know everything that's on the agenda. So the only way you could keep it from him is don't put it on the agenda.
But you know,
yes,
Willie is the only one who breathe and sleep. Kiwanis, you know. It's a good thing the pandemic on us. Sorry, it may be the bad thing the pandemic is on us. You would have catch
Oh, yeah, good thing.
Close to him, you get infected.
DP Evan, so good to see you, my friend.
And it's so good to see you and to hear you. I haven't seen you, but I've heard you.
Yes, sir.
And I thank you so much. You were my let's see what you were my public relations manager.
Yes.
When I was president.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I remember it well.
Yeah.
But I remember in '96, I was placed in the bar at your house.
Yes, I remember.
At the board meeting, I was told by Carlton.
I remember well.
He said, serve everybody, but make sure you listen. Make sure you listen.
But you know, this magnificent team I spoke of, it now consisted of some 15 distinguished presidents and DLGEs.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Well, I remember
DP Evan, I remember.
It was a dream team.
I remember at your installation, you shared the story of the 2 C's.
Yes, you did ask for it, yes.
And that thing has stuck with me all my life up to this day. You know, many times, you know, if I have to speak to people, I tell them about that story that you shared at that installation.
I remember you came to me. Yes.
Remind us. The 2 T's you said?
Two C's.
That's why Chris remember.
And Evan, you handed over the baton to me.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That is right.
I remember
that is right.
I never missed a board meeting because and the music afterwards, those vintage music. Man.
Oh yes, by Evan. Yes.
I didn't remember.
Yes, and I know you're a music man, you must earn. You couldn't beat you with the music.
I was looking back, and it took me 12 years to become president. And I'm sure it wasn't because of being dumb or anything like that.
No.
And nowadays, it's almost normal. In 2 years, persons are turning president.
Don't go there, Raleigh. Don't go there.
To the president of this committee was easy.
Passage.
I came on in '96.
When I turned in 2005, it was from the time I was second VP. I was running from them things there because I said, job them hard, man. And I see how the guys work. But I must admit, and I said it recently, it was easier than it is today. So I raised my hat to people like Desmond and Rupert. And of course, it's because Willie was there that those guys were still strengthened. But in my time, it was easy because when I was president, the thing was on automatic pilot, you know, because of the guys before.
And not only that, Stewie, when you were president, you would look to a certain table whenever you're presenting anything. There are certain people sat like Trevor Christian and Evan Brown, and when Trevor Christian shake him head, you know you're going down the wrong path.
You better believe it.
Well,
Trevor was very good at that, boy. Trevor was a master at that.
Oh boy, I tell you, fundraising. I couldn't even do the accounts thing properly. But you see that fundraising, nobody wanted to see that. Sorry, be positive. Everybody wanted to see that ball come out. So if you're doing foolishness, them just brush you aside a bit and then bring you back when they're ready. They ran the show because the project was the real object, you know? Boy, those were great days.
So Trevor,
yes.
Who know that as well as I do? Maybe not in Kiwanis, but elsewhere.
Yes.
You remember that? Hey, Trevor, you remember me?
Of course, but you don't remember me. you didn't turn up.
Yeah. I was in certain place in a rally.
Yeah.
When I fouled up, and Trevor just look at me and shake him head. When the meeting was over, Trevor said, "You're the worst person I've ever introduced to this
organization." I remember in my year, I took the district grandmaster to speak at the club. And when he went up to the podium, he turned right around and turned his head around and turned it around. And kind of just diffuse the whole argument about lodgemen can't look behind them.
But talking about record keeping, you know, the ultimate record keeper was Trevor, you know. Trevor knew when everybody came